From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Give us a call. The number is 208-991-4783. And become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Before we get into today's show, I do have an announcement to make. We've had a couple of pages at the website at greatdetectives.net that I think that people enjoy, particularly if they've just come to listening to the program. But we're kind of buried, so we've got some subdomains now that you can easily access them. The first we have is our big list of detective old-time radio shows. And there's a list of programs on there, those that we're planning and hoping to be able to do someday, those we have done, and those that, despite being detective shows, we're just not going to do. So you can go to biglist.greatdetectives.net to see those. In addition to that, we also have an archive, archive.greatdetectives.net, and there I've got a link to every special, every series that we've done so far, so you can easily access and download old recordings, even if something's not showing up in iTunes anymore. And I hope to, over the course of the next few months, add links so you can automatically add these old shows to your iTunes library, as well as the new ones. So be sure and check those out, biglist.greatdetectives.net and archives.greatdetectives.net. All right, well, today's program is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for your support. And now, here is today's episode from February 16th, 1955, The Moving Target.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
A tempestuous blonde wants a carefree Romeo to slow up and settle down. It isn't always sweet surrender. Not if she emphasizes her demands with hot lead.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barrie Craig, confidential investigator.
Barrie Craig speaking. In any national poll where voters were asked to elect the prize chump of 1955, I know one candidate who'd walk away with the title. Mr. Fenley, Bertram Fenley, to give the champion sap of our time his full name. I first met Fenley on the docks, Pier 82. He'd phoned me very hush-hush to please meet him there. I found him on the pier, squatting on 2 beat-up valises, looking like he'd just come off the banana boat docked right behind him. He had, it turned out.
I was on that boat, Mr. Craig, the Hilda May. I was in Honduras. That's in the Orient.
Honduras is in Central America, Mr. Fenley.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean Central America.
A middle-aged man with fat cheeks and a mild look. So, what's your trouble, Mr. Fenley?
Oh, my trouble is just the right word. I don't know how to begin to tell you.
Well, there's a coffee pot across the street. Let's talk in there, huh? Over rancid coffee and stale donuts, Fennelly stated his problem.
Yes, well, I'll show you all these papers, Mr. Craig. You would like to look them over?
The Anzio Calhoun Hotel Land Development Corporation. The big print says.
That's my employer. I was sent overseas to make diagrams of land space for building modern hotels.
Well, I see you did a cost analysis.
Oh, yes. That one file of papers in your hand represents 3 months' work.
Meaning there are other files of paper?
Yes, I've been abroad 3 times now. I have completed reports on Honduras, Siam, the Belgian Congo, and in a little village called Kukasanka.
Kukasanka? I never heard of it.
Well, nobody has. It doesn't appear on the map. It took me 27 days to find it. Kukasanka is mainly 12 straw huts located 270 miles due east of Rangoon.
And your company is scouting it as a modern hotel site?
Well, that was my understanding.
You've been traveling here and there for how long?
8 months.
All expenses paid?
Yes, my expenses to date have been $7,000.
Why did you contact me to meet you secretly at the dock?
Well, in Honduras, I received a telegram. And not to come home, but to proceed on to Borneo.
And prepare more papers?
Yes.
But you hopped aboard a banana boat instead and came home?
Yes. You see, I had begun to suspect.
Oh, at long last. What else has fired your suspicions?
Well, mysterious incidents overseas.
Like unexplainable accidents, huh? You almost lost a leg or an arm?
Yes, and even my life. Once in a village named Terabumba on the African coast, I was arrested as an enemy spy.
Somebody planted documents in your luggage?
Yes, and I was thrown into a dungeon without trial.
So how come you're here today?
The merciful heavens intervened. A tidal wave overran the village. It washed every building off its foundation.
And washed you into the open?
I fled by ox cart.
Enough. I've had it up to my ears. Now, where will you be staying?
The Yankee Doodle Hotel on the lower Barrie. No one will think to look.
Okay, fine. I'll come see you after I've talked to your so-called employer. Back outside on the dock street, I got a dramatic insight into just how violent incidents kept dogging poor Fennelly's footsteps. Crossing over to my jalopy, a black touring car came straight at us. It had curtains drawn like a hearse. Abreast of us, it sang a funeral requiem. A submachine gun. Fennelly, hit the dirt! We lay on the cobblestones, flatter than a couple of deflated pancakes. 60 seconds after the danger had passed, Fennelly was still speechless. I could say it was an attempt on your life, Fennelly. I can't see anybody machine gunning the street just to be naughty. However, come on if we're going. The Anzio Calhoun Hotel Land, etc., occupied a 6-room suite just off Park Row. Well-furnished, but deserted. No sign of business activity. In the last room of the joint, I found a live tenant. A guy in a silk suit with the glue loose on his toupee. It flapped over his brow. He was fast asleep. I gave up the notion of giving him a hot one. I just settled for a shove. Hey, rise and shine.
Hey, what's the idea?
Now, put the gun away.
Gun? Oh, force of habit, friend.
I'm sure.
Yeah, what do you want?
Well, I've got a chain of hotels to sell. There's a television set in every broom closet.
Oh, you're a comic. Don't audition for me, huh? I don't like funny men.
And suppose I switch professions. How's this impersonation for you?
Oh, badge, huh? Well, you won't advance your career here, copper. We got nothing here to interest a private dick.
6 rooms and 20 desks and only 1 telephone.
We've been retrenching.
So fire Bertram Fennelly, why don't you?
Fennelly's canned the minute he gets back from the Borneo assignment.
But Fennelly didn't go to Borneo.
No? Hey, we wired him to... Hey, how is it you know all about Fennelly to begin with, huh?
It happens I'm representing him.
Huh? Fenley's here in New York?
He is?
Well, but that's going against his instructions.
You wanted him to keep on wandering.
Hey, wandering is his job with Anzio Calhoun. That's why he's on the company tab.
To prepare reports on hotel sites, huh?
Yeah.
Now, where in creation to date has your company built a hotel? One hotel.
Hey, now look, guy, we're set up legal. We're incorporated. Read that certificate on the wall. We got stock floating. 300,000 shares at $1 a throw. And that's only the first issue. We got big plans. So wipe that grin off your kisser, huh?
Just what are the big plans?
Hotels in out-of-the-way places and landing strips to every unit. No competition across the street like down in Miami. Now, you know our idea.
Sounds screwy. What exactly are Fenley's qualifications for scouting hotel sites for you?
Hey, Fenley was a big hotel keeper. That's why we put him on for us. Fenley has the experience. And now I want to catch a little snooze, huh?
One more thing. Your name?
It's printed on the door.
Cupie Marino. Cupie.
Yeah, my old lady stuck me with the name. At the time, I was too little to argue.
Every guy has his racket, but Marino's had me mystified. So far, anyhow. Why anybody would squander $7,000 in travel expenses on a screwball like Fenley. The evening papers added to the general confusion. There was a scare headline in it. Rampaging college students tour town firing toy submachine gun. Police threaten harsh measures. College pranksters. That could account for what had looked like an attempt on Fenley's life earlier. In the Yankee Doodle Hotel, Fenley breathed a sigh of relief over the headline.
Oh, my. Well, then the shooting wasn't meant for me.
Or this could be a mere coincidence. But let's get down to meatier stuff.
Yes. You saw Mr. Marino?
I did.
And your opinion of him?
He draws a gun as regularly as ordinary men draw a breath.
Am I then the victim of some hoax?
Maybe so. Or maybe just a useful stooge. Traveling about and preparing paper reports so that Anzio Calhoun, etc., can lie about their big plans.
A lie to whom?
Sucker investors who read their stock investment prospectus. Big talk about their preliminary field operations. That's you, Fenley. Their whole field staff.
Oh, I see.
Marino said you were a, quote, big hotel keeper, unquote, when he latched onto you. Now, how about that?
Oh, well, it is a mite exaggerated.
So shrink it to size, huh?
Well, I ran a rooming house in Buxton Falls.
Buxton Falls? Oh, out in Ohio, huh?
Yes.
Well, how big an operation was it? Come on now. No false modesty.
4 roomers. But I served iced cantaloupe for breakfast.
Imagine. How did Marino get to know about you in the first place? An ad in the paper or something?
No. I won a contest here in New York.
How come?
Well, I'll explain.
Oh, I'm dying to hear.
At home in Buxton Falls, this was. The telephone rang one night. It was New York, they said. And then somebody asked me something. Could I name 10 American presidents?
You could, and you did, and you won a prize, the man said.
Yes, a weekend in a big New York hotel, tickets to a Broadway show, a case of automobile polish, cufflinks.
And stuff.
Yeah, stuff, and an appearance on the radio.
To do what?
Recite President James Madison's inauguration speech.
Which leads us to Marino.
Yes, he telephoned me at the hotel where I was staying. Oh, he'd been much impressed with me on the radio, Mr. Marino said.
And as a mighty hotel keeper, plus brain, did you want a job with Anzio, Calhoun, etc.?
That's right, and I accepted at once.
Oh, you would. Who produced the so-called show that changed the course of your previously humdrum existence?
Why, Mr. Adrian Borislav.
Located where?
Well, the Advanced Theatrical Enterprises on Broadway, uptown.
The Advanced Theatrical Enterprises, huh? What do you bet I find 6 deserted rooms and a hood snoozing on a sofa? My guess on the advanced theatrical enterprises was only partly correct. There were only 5 offices in this suite, and nobody in them. Hello, anybody? Not even my echo. In the last room of the suite, I found my sleeper.
Mink.
No hood this time out. A doll. A pretty face. More rouge than mouth. 3 shades of hair and her shoes off. I woke her up gently. Rise and shine, gorgeous.
Who are you?
Barrie Craig, a detective. And you?
Margie. I dreamed somebody was...
Tickling your feet?
Yeah.
I was. With this.
My pencil.
Oh, I just returned it. Now, a gent named Borislav. Where do I find him?
Ha-ha!
Did I just crack a joke?
I'll say you did.
Well, enlighten me.
Who doesn't want to find Adrian Borislav?
Oh, he's that popular?
He's that much of a skunk.
You sound like you were left holding a bag.
Holding it for $500, 10 weeks' salary.
You were Borislav's secretary?
I was. Now I'm in here every day for a week, just waiting for that creep to show up.
Characterize Adrian Borislav for me.
With pleasure. He's a petty promoter, a deadbeat. He bought radio time on small stations just to publicize himself as Mr. Big, to attract attention to himself. He ran cheesy little nothing contests. Mind you, they were all on the level. After all, it only amounted to cheap advertising.
Well, what was his real pitch here in the actual offices?
Vanity publications for composers and poets, writers, models. He'd skin 'em, but good.
I see. And now Borislav of Advanced Theatricals has flown the coop.
Go look at the unpaid bills on his desk. Deadbeat. My flesh is beginning to crawl, hanging around here. You got any more questions you'd like to ask me?
I have.
Then do it over a drink. Heavens to Hannah, do I need a drink.
When Bright Eyes had lubricated her gullet sufficiently, I got back to the business at hand. Were you with Borislav when a screwball named Bertram Fennelly rode in from Buxton Falls?
Popsy?
Popsy?
Fenley. My nickname for him was Popsy.
Sounds affectionate.
Oh, I'm crazy about Popsy. I'm more at home in the company of older men.
Well, what's wrong with the younger men?
Their conceit.
How did you people in Advanced Theatrical get Fennelly's name and phone number to begin with?
We're out of the higher telephone directory. We picked 10 names from each state and put them all in a goldfish bowl. You know, like a raffle.
I see.
There was nothing ever dishonest about Mr. Borislav's contests. Not the contests.
I wonder.
You wonder? Say, are you insinuating something?
I'll keep it friendly. I'll shut up.
Look, be unfriendly. I don't care. You're thinking something. Be a man and come on out with it.
You hate me?
I practically do already anyhow. So come out with it.
All right. I think you were planted in that office, doll, to sell me a line of bull. Account for Borislav and absentia. Call him foul names as you did, but steer me away from looking for him.
Why, you cheap
Temper. Your job was also to nicely explain Fennelly's original presence here in New York.
But I tell you, Popsy won a contest.
Sure, but my guess is the contest was only a device in the first place.
A device for what?
I'll answer that with a question of my own. What's the tie-up between Advanced Theatricals and a setup called Anzio Calcoon? No answer, huh?
Please, don't you dare pay for my drink. I'll treat myself. Don't think the company hasn't been nauseating.
Any blonde with saucer eyes and 3 lovely shades of hair who can't snare her man is a dead blonde awaiting burial. But Margie was alive and Fennelly was willing. All of which led to new complications.
Well, I've come to say goodbye, Mr. Craig.
Where are you going?
Well, frankly, I feel like such a fool.
So talk like one.
I'm going to Borneo.
After all?
But I'm afraid my misapprehensions about the Anzio Calcoon Hotel land development...
Were all imaginary.
Yes.
Marino's been in touch with you, huh?
Yes, he offered me a substantial increase in salary.
And you snapped it up.
Well, the fact is, I have personal reasons for going abroad this time. It promises to be very enjoyable.
I can see.
You can see?
And smell. That cologne on you.
Oh, a phantom lover. It's a toilet water.
The axle grease in your hair. The snazzy new suit and the yellow pointed shoes. And that tea rose in your buttonhole. Why, Fennelly, you're a regular Beau Brummel.
Well, thank you.
And it all spells blonde to me. Margie, huh?
The fact is, yes, we're engaged.
To be married where?
In Borneo.
And why in Borneo?
Margie, that's my fiancée, is rather incredibly romantic.
Yes, I see. She wants to be married by a tribal chief.
A tribe? Why, how did you guess?
Oh, I took 9 easy lessons in mysticism. Now, how did you fall for it?
Well, I'm not sure I shouldn't resent it.
Fennelly, how dumb can you be? Can't you see this is only another maneuver to start you traveling?
But why should anyone want me?
That's the nub of it. Just why do people look on Bertram Fennelly as a necessary export? Now, Fennelly.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
Call quits on Marino and quit mooning over Margie. Margie's jackassing you. She, the disappeared Borislav, and Marino are all working together. Against you.
Against me, but why?
But why? And why is what we don't know yet. Go back to your hotel, Fennelly, and stay there. Incommunicado. You're a fish who snaps up at any bait. So don't see or talk to anybody.
But I'm not going back to the Yankee Doodle Hotel, Mr. Craig.
Why not?
Because I'm going home. To human Buxton Falls, Mr. Craig. I have absolutely had more than I can stand.
But Fennelly didn't make Buxton Falls as it developed. He got as far as Pennsylvania Station, New York. Then got himself a free ride downtown. In the paddy wagon to the Tombs. Which was where I next found him, in a state of collapse.
Oh, for this shameful thing to happen to me.
What are you accused of?
Theft of a wallet.
Did you have the wallet on you?
Yes, but...
But?
But I found it in Pennsylvania Station while waiting for my... It was there. It was right at my feet.
Then up came a complainant and a cop.
Yes.
And?
The complainant, a Mr. Sampson Maxwell, swore that I had...
Picked his pocket.
Yes.
Sampson Maxwell of the Borislav Marino Margie Combine. Fennelly, your middle name is Trouble.
Oh, but it's an infamous lie.
This tactic of the wallet adds a new wrinkle to the older pattern.
Yes, but I don't understand.
Up to now, I figured the idea was to keep you out of the country. Knocked off overseas, or failing that. Anyhow, keep you traveling around.
But now...
Now I figure the idea is to mainly keep you out of Buxton Falls.
Keep me from my hometown?
Just as they lured you out of it. With that phony contest.
Well, I'm confused.
You were born confused. Borislav lured you away from Buxton Falls. Then Marino sent you overseas. Now a Maxwell fixed it so you can't get home to Buxton Falls. He thinks.
Yes, but what can all this mean?
An idea is beginning to glimmer in this beautiful head of mine. We'll go into it, Fennelly, when I post bail for you. I posted bail for Fennelly. $50 by special courtesy of the DA's office. Then I grabbed Margie from under a hair-drying machine in Madame Zelda's beauty parlor and waltzed her through the streets. At the Times Square out-of-town newsstand, Fennelly joined us, as prearranged, for a look at the front page of the Buxton Falls Bugle.
Murder trial nearing close. Why, there's a murder trial going on back home.
Defense bases case on alibi for New York mobster Stitch Latimer.
Stitch
Hello?
Mr. Craig, what does it say there?
Well, the gist of it is, Stitch Latimer is charged with killing a guard in a factory payroll robbery. 8 months ago, this was, Fennelly. About the time you began traveling. Latimer's defense is that it's all mistaken identity. that he never set foot in Buxton Falls in his life. Oh, Fenley.
Yes.
Here's an inside picture of Latimer. You ever see him before?
Let me see. Ever see? Why, yes, he roomed with me once. Overnight. He said he was a traveling salesman.
Well, there's the why of your travels. You're the only man who can place Latimer in Buxton Falls at the time he was there. Probably casing the job he finally pulled.
Oh, and the others? Marino, Borislov, and Maxwell?
Latimer's boys, trying to get him out from under by keeping you out of Buxton Falls until the trial is over. Right, Margie?
My mouth is sealed.
Oh, that's too bad.
What's too bad?
Talk freely and you could cop a plea. Why take those rosy lips out of circulation for years?
How bad is it for a girl in jail?
No jukeboxes, tall drinks.
Who cares?
No hairdryers.
I can live without.
No, wolf whistles.
As bad as that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So who do I talk to? Where?
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, The Moving Target, was written by John Robert. Next week, it's the strange story, Hour of Reckoning, about which Barrie Craig has this to say. In Hour of Reckoning, a manicurist and a playboy find the rocky road to romance is a dead-end street when a certain ill-wisher contributes a corpse to the bride's trousseau. The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan, starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Directed by Andrew C. Love, the cast included Lynn Allen, Howard McNear, and Jerry Hausner. Join Groucho Marx for You Bet Your Life tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. I have been reading through the Sherlock Holmes adventures, and I came across the story of the stockbroker's clerk, which involved criminals luring away a clerk that had just been hired by a stockbroker to a profitable position with a better offer so that they could sneak in, impersonate him, and be able to rob the broker. And it occurred to me, this is the basic plot of the Red-Headed League, where you have someone performing a con job, not with the purpose of getting money or something that's in a value of itself from the person they're duping, but rather to achieve some other nefarious end. And so this episode reminded me of that, because in one way it follows that same formula as the Red-Headed League. It's the basic idea, particularly when you send somebody abroad for something that's as dubious as that. So, just an interesting connection I picked up on here. Well, we do turn now to listener comments and feedback. We received a pretty thoughtful one from Michael, who writes in and says, This is regarding the video theater number 28, Midnight Manhunt. Unlike many radio detective stars, William Gargan not only sounds the part, but looks it too. Often when I see radio actors, they seldom look or act in person as good as their impressive voices. I would add that that's definitely true, like Brian Donlevy. It sounds a whole lot better on the radio than he looks in the television episodes of Dangerous Assignment. But anyway, Michael writes, Gargan's the real deal. He carries himself with an easy confidence. He's the kind of guy the women love, who outsmarts the criminals and has something few possess quite like him, real charisma. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who looks more natural in a fedora. He's the classic American detective. Even in a fun B-film such as this, he's great to watch. Nothing overly fancy, just some two-fisted investigative work. It's interesting to note that though he plays a reporter and not a detective by trade, he's a detective through and through by action. Thanks, Adam, for bringing Midnight Manhunt to great detectives. Well, you're welcome. And as I mentioned before, what makes Gargan so, I think, authentic in these sort of roles is he really does have that background, because he grew up, kind of surrounded by the real Runyon-esque crime type figures, because his father was a bookie. And then, in addition to that, he gained the experience working as both a store detective / collector, and then as an actual private eye. So he brings a lot of genuineness. The charisma, I think, is definitely true, which is why, we've talked about how in his later days, he was able to be such a great success in raising funds for cancer. And, I think one big reason for that, he got Hollywood so much behind him, is that he was very well liked and loved within that community. And, it's remarkable to, you take a show like the Good News program where we've been playing on the extras, where he started out just coming on as a guest star, and then they had him back week after week, for 3 weeks, and then they brought him onto this program as a regular member of the cast. So there's was a definite appeal there, a lot of friendships and just very solid relationships between Gargan and Hollywood stars that went beyond even his talent, that made him such a well-liked figure in that town. So, all right, well, that will actually do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with our final episode of Crime on the Waterfront, and then join us next week. This one, on Tuesdays, we'll be having Pete Kelly's Blues. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support. And it's time now for another episode of Crime on the Waterfront. This is really rare to find two auditions for the same show, and I think that speaks to how much promise Mike Wallace showed in this particular role. So let's go ahead and we will take a listen to the episode, this one titled Heiress Cruise, and it was recorded on March the 1st of 1949.
Waterfront. Cagle calling.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Lou Cagle, ace New York detective, fighter of Crime on the Waterfront.
Last Friday, the Metropolitan Art Museum requested headquarters to furnish someone who'd like to take a short boat ride. Seems a few of their highly valued paintings were slated to be put on exhibition at a kind of international go-to being held down in Bermuda, and they wanted a man to come on along and see that nothing happened to the stuff. So I went to Bermuda. And it's a pretty little island. I liked it. Oh, there wasn't much to do. Played some golf. Got into the water once or twice. Anyway, last night ended the convention, vacation or whatever, and this morning I checked aboard the Promethean for the return trip to New York. We're out of port about an hour when a steward knocks on my door, says, Captain Archer presents his compliments and would like to see me in his cabin at my very earliest convenience, which means pronto, so I go right down.
Lieutenant Kagle, I'll come straight to the point. As master of this ship, I'm directly responsible for the safety of my passengers. Well, this morning, one of them, a young lady, appealed to me for protection.
Against what?
Kidnapping.
On a ship?
Almost my exact words. But here's the difficulty. The young lady is not just any young lady. She's Helena Dawson.
Well, happy Easter.
Name doesn't do anything for you? Dawson? Oyster Bay?
Oh, wait a minute. The soap chips.
And the oil wells.
Sure. I see what you mean.
Exactly. So in view of that, and now I'm thinking as an employee of the line, to ignore the appeal would be unwise.
But crank stuff, huh?
I wish I could be certain.
You think she isn't a crank?
This girl's not a run-of-the-mill heiress. In fact, she may never get a penny from her family.
What's the problem there?
About 8 or 9 years ago, she broke with them.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I'm getting it back. Wasn't she the girl who walked out the night of her debut?
And left the country. That's the one.
Oh, Helena Dawson. Sure, I remember now. That was big stuff. What happened to her?
She came to Bermuda and took a job as a teacher. From what I can gather, she's been on her own ever since.
Well, now tell me how the kidnapping scare works in.
Yes. Well, she says it started 2 weeks ago in Bermuda when an anonymous phone call came. Seems a man at the other end of the line instructed her to leave $10,000 at a designated spot within the next 5 days or she'd be kidnapped. She ignored the threat. A week later, it was repeated.
What do the police have to say about it?
Miss Dawson didn't report it to them.
Well, that was bright.
Afraid of publicity, I'd imagine.
Whereas if the kidnapping went through, she wouldn't get any, I suppose.
Perhaps she'd made arrangements to have it done quietly, Lieutenant.
Well, don't they kill you? What happened then?
Well, even though she didn't take the authorities into her confidence, she had good sense enough to be frightened. That's why she's on this ship.
Well, how do you mean?
Miss Dawson felt that if she left Bermuda for a while, whoever was behind the kidnap threats would think she'd done so on the advice of the police and be scared off.
Yeah, but wait a minute. If the Dawson girl is at such pains to keep her problem quiet, why does she suddenly dump it in your lap?
I'm coming to that. Less than 30 minutes ago, she found this note in her vanity case. She swears it wasn't there when we sailed.
Oh. The price remains the same, but now it's pay up or else you won't leave this boat alive. But what's this about a white scarf?
Oh. Well, according to Miss Dawson, that was originally mentioned in the second threat she received by phone in Bermuda. The man told her to appear at a certain time in the Hamilton post office wearing a white scarf if she was ready to accept his terms. That would be the sign.
Movies. Everybody goes to the movies. Now he wants her to wear it in the ship's salon tonight, any time between 10 and 12.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you make of it, Lieutenant?
You asking me to come into this?
I'd be very grateful. So would Miss Dawson. She and I went over the list very carefully, and you're the only passenger experienced in police work we could find.
What about your own men?
Oh, same old thing. Everyone will know something is up, and that's what she's trying to avoid.
Garbo.
What's that?
You sure her name isn't Garbo?
Certain. Well, Lieutenant?
Okay, where do I find her?
Stateroom 1270. I'll phone down and tell her you're coming.
Either I hadn't been listening, or else Captain Archer had purposely avoided describing Miss Dawson, because for some reason or other it gets stuck in my head that she's mostly on the plain side. After all, who but a crow would pick the night of her coming out party to leave town? I keep on like this all the way down to her stateroom, and by the time she opens the door, I'm prepared for anything from Tugboat Annie to the Medusa.
Good morning.
Is this 1270 stateroom?
You're Lieutenant Cagle?
Yes. Is Miss Dawson expecting me?
I'm Miss Dawson. Won't you come in?
Oh, thanks. I'm Lieutenant Cagle.
Captain Archer phoned to say that you'd take the case. I don't know what the usual fee for a thing like
No. That's a private detective. This comes out of your taxes. I'm on the New York force.
Oh, but surely no one expects you.
I'm not on vacation. Forget it. Let's talk about the note you received. Look, are you sure it couldn't have been put in your vanity case before you came aboard?
Absolutely. You see, as soon as my luggage was brought here to the stateroom, I opened the case for a new lipstick. If the note were there, I couldn't have missed it.
Is that the case, the small alligator job?
Yes.
Well, then what?
I closed the vanity, although I didn't lock it, and left the stateroom. I wanted to watch us cast off. But up on deck, it was so crowded, I decided instead to go to the dining room and have some coffee. That was equally crowded, so I came back here and began unpacking. It was then that I found the note.
You were gone about 15 minutes.
No less. 10.
Mm-hmm. You know anyone on board?
Yeah, 3 people. Or rather 2. Dr. Reed and his nurse, Miss Barber. Their patient, Mrs. Pritchett, is barely an acquaintance.
Is Reed's stateroom far from here?
Just on the companionway. But before you say anything, Dr. Reed's out of the question. If during my 8 years in Bermuda I made one friend, it would be he.
Mm-hmm.
The man was my doctor, father, counselor, just everything.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Reed knows you're on the ship.
Oh, it was arranged that way. You see, about a month ago, Mrs. Pritchett, the patient I mentioned, lost her husband. The poor woman's been an invalid herself for years, confined to a wheelchair most of the time, eyesight failing. Well, she's over 80.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Reed suggested that since she had no living relatives in Bermuda to look after her, she needs almost constant attention. It would be advisable to return to America and take up residence with her daughter's family.
Mm-hmm, I see.
Mrs. Pritchett agreed to do it, but only if Dr. Reed would see her safely there.
You tell Reed about the phone calls you got?
Oh, no. When I found he was taking this ship, I simply pretended the idea of a visit to New York sounded interesting, and would he consider it an imposition if I tagged along?
Okay. You've got no idea who might be behind this extortion thing?
None.
Well, what do you want to do about it?
I want protection, of course. Someone has threatened to kill me unless
Sure. Protection's all right, and you'll get that, but that's not the whole story. You got to take a stand. You want to play along and smoke this bird out? Ignore him? Pay him off? Which is it?
I certainly don't intend to pay him his cent. As for smoking him out, I hardly think he's worth the effort. Do you?
Okay, you decide what to do.
Well, simply this. We arrive in New York within 48 hours, and if during that time you'll protect me, with as little ceremony as possible, from whomever wrote that note, be he public enemy or pickpocket, I won't ask for anything else.
You mean just hang around in the background like a bouncer?
Or in the foreground, like a traveling companion. I'm an easy person to get along with.
Well, when does it start?
Right now, I guess.
Maybe the dining room's not so crowded now. Helena.
If it isn't, would you join me for a cup of coffee?
Lou?
Lou?
Delighted. I'd be delighted. The coffee takes about an hour. A very pleasant hour, by the way, and then Helena marches me into the lounge where we spend the morning playing Russian Bank. During lunch, I ask if she'd mind my looking up Dr. Reed. Helena decides he may as well know what's going on now, since I'll have to be explained to him sooner or later anyway, so when the meal's over, I excuse myself and walk down to his stateroom. He's a very strange-looking guy, this Reed, man about 60, with a head like a bowling ball. Skin the color of an apple that's been bit into and left to stand for a while. I bring him up to date on what's happened, why I'm involved, and then he makes what you might think is a perfectly innocent statement.
I lay the entire scheme at the feet of some ill-informed crank. $10,000. Helena doesn't have near that amount.
Except that I didn't tell him the note demanded $10,000. I simply said a lot of money. Of course, you might have figured if folks could raise it without much effort.
I shouldn't wonder. What steps are you taking, Lieutenant?
None. Miss Dawson doesn't want me to.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. That's Miss Barber. Come in. Miss Barber, this is Lieutenant Kagle of the New York Police Department.
How do you do?
Pleased to meet you.
Doctor, Mrs. Pritchett's coming around. I thought
Of course. Be along presently. You'll pardon me, Lieutenant. I dislike breaking off our conversation so abruptly, but my patient...
Forget it. We can talk about this later.
As you see, my time is restricted, but if in any way I can help or counsel you, I'd be only too glad. For years, Helena's been like a daughter to me.
Yeah, that's what she said. Reed certainly put his foot in that one. I just hope the look on my face didn't give it back to him. $10,000, huh? He's probably been thinking $10,000 so much he can't even keep it out of his conversation. Normally, at this point in any other case, I'd be telling myself what a hot rock Lou Cagle is when it comes to fast solutions. But now I had a problem in my hands. How was I going to tell Helena? After all, it's kind of a blow to find out the person who's supposed to be your closest friend is trying to shake you down for $10,000. So, for the rest of the afternoon, every time the subject comes up, I move her along to a new one. After dinner, we kill most of the evening sitting around the ship's salon, and by 11 p.m., when they close, I've decided I can't put it off any longer. Helena says she'd like a cigarette before turning in, so we step outside and we stroll up the promenade deck. Cool?
Just right.
I'll bet it's snowing in New York.
Lou, look.
What?
A falling star.
Yeah. Oh. That's pretty, huh? Did you make a wish?
Uh-huh.
Helena, how long have you known Dr. Reed?
More than 7 years. Why?
Oh, I was wondering where he practiced before he came to Bermuda.
No place. He's a native of the island.
Reed was born there?
Lou, are you cross-examining me?
Sorry. It's an occupational disease.
Oh, I met Dr. Reed in 1941, the winter. He nursed me through a case of the grip. And then when I got well and tried to pay him, he wouldn't take the money.
How come?
He knew how much a schoolteacher made.
Pretty rough, huh?
Not if you taste so simple. $1,650 a year.
Which, I imagine, went for cigarettes.
Oh, I lived on it. What's more, in 2 years, I'd saved enough to buy a second-hand car that I used to go around.
Helena, look out. Get down.
No, what is it?
Don't move. Hug the wall. It came from up on the boat deck.
But what?
Stay here.
Where are you
The
going?
boat deck. Hug that wall and don't move. I'll be back in a minute. It was Reed. As he raised the gun, I'd caught his shadow in the hatchway above us. Ahead, like a bowling ball, you couldn't miss it. I creep up the stairs fast, about 2/3 of the way, then flatten down and heist myself forward till the deck spreads out just level with my eyes. It's deserted. And a little bit too quiet. Plus, that if the moon were any brighter, it'd blind me. I'm almost convinced there isn't a way in the world to get on that deck without being seen when I notice something. Stretched along the rail on my right are half a dozen lifeboats. And whenever the ship lists or rises out of a trough, the prow of the lifeboat nearest me throws up a shadow over the mouth of my hatchway. It lasts maybe 4 seconds, which is time enough to crawl to the rail and get down out of sight behind one of those boats if I'm quick. I haven't more than made up my mind to try it when the ship trembles again, dips to one side, hangs there a second, starts back, and now the lifeboat begins to spill its shadow across the hatchway. I hold off until I'm sure the shadow's almost as long as it's going to get, and then, with all the force I can, I throw myself toward the lifeboat. It's a typical jerk trick. I'm trying to rush up a 30-degree slope with everything else on board pulling the other way. Nijinsky at the top of his leap. If I were trying to get shot, I couldn't do a better job. But I finally do stop teetering back and forth and stumble behind the lifeboat, and by then it's pretty clear that Dr. Reed has either gone to bed or put away his gun for the evening. A minute or so goes by while I catch my breath, and then suddenly I hear the sound of voices floating up from the deck below me. And one of them's Helena's. But it's not till I crawl over to the hatchway that I find out who the other belongs to.
I had to do the thing at this time. Furthermore, if I didn't come close, it wouldn't have looked authentic. Cagle's no fool.
You idiot. They were inches from hitting us. What are you trying
Don't
to do?
excite yourself. It's over. You're unharmed.
I'm surprised to be alive.
Forget that precious neck of yours and keep your mind on the job. Will you do that for once? I'll be going now. Wouldn't do for him to find me here.
No, it wouldn't.
Call me in the morning. Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
It seems like 10 years. before I get to my feet and walk down the deck from that hatchway? I don't know. Everyone's in on this but me. But in on what? That question comes back again, because Helena and Reed obviously have some brand new racket going, but like every other question of the jackpot variety, I can't answer it. Nor can I see how they expect to make any money by such monkey shines. Unless, of course, Helena's helping the doc shake a few thousand out of her old man by means of a phony extortion plot. Which reminds me that Helena's still waiting at the foot of the hatchway, or at least I think she is. But when I get down there, nobody's around. Back in my stateroom, I find a note slipped under the door in which she explains how terrifying it all was and that she couldn't bear another minute alone out in the dark, and please call her first thing in the morning. Looks like first thing in the morning is everybody's favorite time for contacting Cagle, because about 7:15 along comes a steward with some more of Captain Archer's compliments and an invitation to eat breakfast with him in his cabin.
Good morning, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Captain.
I get you up?
Uh-huh.
I like your eggs. Fried, dropped,
No, coffee. Just some coffee, please.
Well, Miss Dawson found any more threatening letters in her baggage?
Well, not that I know of. No cream, thanks.
All right. Here you are.
We did get some action last night. Gentleman who'd been hiding up on the boat deck fired 2 shots at us.
Fired 2... Cagle.
It's okay. It didn't hurt anybody. It didn't intend to.
What? Man, in heaven's name. You should report it immediately.
If I didn't know who he was, I would have.
Well,
Now, look, Captain, you've got to go along with me on this. Take my word, he won't try it again. Also, please don't ask me who he is. The extortion notes are a blind for his real activity. And if he once guesses we're even half onto him, you'll never see the bottom of this case.
Cagle, this is most irregular. As the captain of the ship,
I know. You're responsible for the safety of your passengers, and that's exactly why things have to be kept quiet. Unless we really hustle, this bird might slide through without having a glove laid on him. As it stands now, I can't guess what he's up to, but I'll bet it's illegal.
Yes.
What time do we dock tomorrow?
10 in the morning, New York time.
Mm-hmm.
What's use my planning any further with tonight's dinner, I suppose.
Dinner?
Just a little thing. Last night out, stretching a custom. Thought perhaps you, Miss Dawson, possibly that doctor friend of hers might join me.
That sounds fine. Why call it off?
Well, view of all the tension.
There isn't any tension.
Huh?
Or at least, Captain, we shouldn't show it. I think your party's a good idea.
For a fact?
Sure. If you want me to, I'll issue the invitation.
Good. Grand. I wish you would. 8 o'clock this evening, my table. Come early. We'll have some cocktails.
After leaving Captain Archer's cabin, I start down to the dining room when suddenly I remember that part in Helena's note about calling her first thing in the morning. I'm anxious to get moving anyhow, so even though it's pretty early, I go down and knock on her stateroom door.
Oh, Lou. Come on inside.
How'd you sleep?
It's not very funny.
Well, I didn't mean it to be.
I'm sorry. It's just that all night I kept seeing her.
Don't apologize. You've got good reason to be jumpy.
Who was it? Did you see anyone find anything out?
Whoever shot at us was off the deck before I got up there.
Well, what am I going to do? I'm afraid to leave the room. I'm afraid to stay in it.
Come on now. Get a hold of yourself. It's broad daylight.
No, it won't be broad daylight forever, Lou.
Have you had your breakfast yet?
What?
Breakfast. What's the matter? Aren't you hungry?
No.
Oh, you can't worry on an empty stomach. Come on. It was a good act, all around. By the time we finish our grapefruit juice, Helena's appetite and confidence are on the upswing. And 20 minutes later, when we get up from the table, nothing will do but a stroll on deck. Well, more like it,
A lot more.
You know, that's the first pancake I've had in years.
You mean the first half dozen?
Say, isn't that Dr. Reed way down there?
Where?
Near the lady in the wheelchair. No, out from the rail.
Oh. Why, yes, it is.
She the Mrs. Pritchard who's so sick?
Uh-huh. It's odd, Miss Barbara. The nurse doesn't seem to be around.
Somebody's sitting on the other side of the wheelchair.
Oh, that's she. I couldn't see her at first. Oh, Lou, before we get up to them, don't say anything about last night, will you?
Okay. All bundled up, isn't she?
Who?
The old lady. You can hardly see her face. What's the matter? They afraid she'll catch a cold?
that. Sure, he has one. Good morning, Doctor.
Helena, good morning. Morning, Lieutenant.
Dr. Reed, Miss Barber.
Good morning, sir. Morning, Miss Dawson.
Would you mind awfully if we continued our conversation a few feet away from my patient? She's had a very bad night. Just now dropped off, and the slightest sound.
No.
Of course, we understand.
Poor woman. I'm coming to regret ever having advised the trip. This'll do. We're far enough.
What's wrong with her?
Just now? A resurgent allergy, and she has dozens of them. I thought getting out of that stuffy cabin for a bit might help.
It put her to sleep. That's something.
Yes, I expect so. What about you, Helena?
Nothing new.
Doesn't surprise me. Crank notes. I'll wager the lieutenant's seen scads of them.
A couple. By the way, we three are invited out for dinner tonight. Captain Archer. Everyone accept?
I'd love it.
That's two of us. How about you, Doctor?
Absolutely.
Excuse me, Doctor. Your patient seems...
Thank you. Miss Barber, she's getting restless. Take her below, will you?
Yes, Doctor. I didn't notice.
And here, give her a few sniffs of this menthol inhaler before she drops off again.
Certainly. Thank you. Now, here we are. Just breathe in deeply. Deeply. That's the spirit. She's quieting down.
Fine. You'd best go back to the stateroom. I'll be with you directly. Can you forgive me? About this evening, tell Captain Archer I'll make every effort, but please explain the situation to him.
Oh, of course we will.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Lieutenant.
Doctor.
Yes?
You dropped something.
I?
Your fountain. Here.
Why, so I did. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thanks very much.
At last, there's something. Maybe only half of something, but anyhow enough to move ahead with. It's late afternoon before I shake Helena long enough to start the machinery for cablegram to the Chief of Police, Hamilton, Bermuda. And I'm still waiting for an answer at 7:15 when Captain Archer's farewell dinner party gets underway. Dr. Reed managed to come after all, a break I intend to take advantage of, but quick. On the third martini, he begins to lose that alert look of his, so I push back my chair, mutter a few excuses, and start out of the dining room. Crossing the mezzanine, I take a peek over my shoulder to see if the sudden exit provoked any comment from Reed or Helena. Well, apparently not. Both of them are having a big yuck over one of Captain Archer's 10-minute jokes, and he's getting ready to tell another, so it looks okay. 2 minutes later, I'm standing in front of the door to Reed's stateroom, fingering a skeleton key. There's only one thing. The adjoining room, the one occupied by Miss Barber and the old lady, is connected to his by a door that may or may not be open. If it is, I'm a gone dog, but since I've come this far... Still in business. The door to Miss Barber's room is closed. There's a blade of light coming from under it, though, so I have to make the pussy feet. Now, where to begin? Reed's desk is the obvious place, but it's at the other end of the room, therefore out comes the pocket flashlight, which is a Lulu. It throws a beam all the length of a pop bottle. Somehow I pick my way over to the desk, kneel down, and start easing the bottom drawer open. Pencils, cablegram blanks. Oh, the one above it doesn't even have the pencils. Now, here's the department. Stethoscope, thermometers. What's this? Uh-huh. Home is the sailor. Uh-oh, and that's from the corridor. Well, anyway, it's not Reed. He wouldn't knock at his own door. I barely snap off the flash and duck behind a chair when... It's Helena. She just stands there, peering through the half-open door into the darkness, listening. And then, as unexpectedly as she arrived, she's gone again. But not, I may as well face it, not before convincing herself that room was not empty. And since that puts everyone onto everyone, I'm afraid by the time I patch all this stuff together, Reed will have shot up half the boat. Well, at least I found what I came after. On my way back to the dining room, a steward hands me a cablegram, the reply from Bermuda, and it reads, according to best reports, Miss Helena Dawson checked aboard the liner Promethean yesterday morning, bound for New York City, signed so-and-so, Chief of Police Hamilton. It's the Promethean I'm on, so everything still gels. When I come up to the table, Captain Archer and Dr. Reed are in the middle of a long discussion on whether many seafaring men still suffer from malnutrition. But not Helena.
Oh, Lou, we missed you. Where have you been?
Well, now, that's an unfair question. In the first place...
Lieutenant,
Huh?
you know something about this. I've been trying to explain to Dr. Reed here that feeding a crew of 40 of these...
And that's how it goes for the rest of the evening, back and forth. Helena working to pry me loose from anything she can. Captain Archer and Reed dragging me in to settle every argument they have. Around 10 o'clock, though, the wind begins to shift. Helena's managed to get it across to the doctor that there's something fishy about me. And the way the party breaks up would make your head swim.
Surely you'll have a nightcap, Doctor.
Thank you, no, Captain. I just had mine. We early risers, you know.
Miss Dawson, Lieutenant?
I don't believe so, thank you.
Not at all. My pleasure. Anyway, I hope you come to see me before we dock tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
All right. At least drop in and say goodbye.
We'll do that. Night, Captain.
Good night.
Good night, Captain.
Miss Dawson?
Thank you for everything, Captain. It was lovely.
Reed and I see Helena to her stateroom, and then we split up. By now, it's become a button thing. They know that I know, but they don't know I know that they know. Which is involved, but I can't lay it out for you any better. Back in my own room, I start getting things ready for what I'm sure is going to happen within the next 10 minutes. First of all, my bed. After I shut off the light, I rumple it up, jam the two pillows under the covers, and start shaping them to look like somebody lying there. No matter how I do it, they still come off like two pillows, but maybe in the dark it'll hold. Then I swing open one of the portholes that faces on deck and squat down directly below it. And for once in my life, I've called a turn. The square foot of rug under me isn't even warm when I hear somebody approaching on the deck outside. I count a slow 20 before I edge over and pick up the phone. Now, maybe this sounds porky, but if a ballistics expert can't turn the 3 slugs he'll dig out of my mattress into an attempted murder charge, I'll hand in my badge.
Operator.
Connect me with Miss Dawson's stateroom, will you? 1270.
One moment, please.
I thought those footsteps sounded just a little bit too dainty to be Dr. Reed's.
Sorry, the party doesn't answer, sir.
That's okay. Put me through to Captain Archer's cabin, will you?
One moment, please.
Hello?
Captain Archer?
Yes?
Lieutenant Cagle. We're about to go to work. Strap on your pistol.
You've got the man who shot at you last night?
I've got his number anyway. How soon can you round up a couple of men and come to stateroom 1265?
That's your place?
No, it's his.
Why, right away. Immediately.
Fine. I'll be inside when you get there, so don't bother to knock. I hang up, look down at the luminous dial on my wristwatch, and follow that second hand around for a full turn. Then I step out into the corridor and start to walk. Halfway to Reed's stateroom, a wrong thing begins growing up inside of me. Anger. Anger at the pretty face I went soft on that wound up trying to dish me a shroud. But an angry cop's no good to himself, so I work to shake it off. And I'm still working when the door to stateroom 1265 appears in front of me, and behind the door I hear voices. Reed and Helena. Hello!
Hello!
You missed.
Kagle, what's the meaning
It's a shame to miss like that, isn't it, Helena? When you're so close, when you planned it so well.
Lieutenant, you're drunk. What do you mean barging in here?
You'll tell me before I leave. You'll tell me what's behind everything.
Please, if there's something
Your
want to
face
know,
is
why
too
don't you-
straight. You bet there's something. 3 shots and all into the bedclothes. Some waste.
What are you talking about?
Here. A gun like this one. That's what I'm talking about. And if we all don't get down to some plain talk pretty soon,
Lieutenant Cagle, you completely out of your
Got a
head.
gun with us.
In the name of heaven, Archer, have your men take this man.
Don't you know who these people are?
No, I don't, Captain, and the same goes for you.
Cagle, I came down here in good faith. I won't be made a laughing stock.
That's right, you won't. I've got enough in this crowd to put him away for a long time.
I warned you, Captain Archer. This drunken idiot...
And if you'll quiet down, I'll tell you what it is.
All right, Lieutenant. Speak up, and it had better be good.
If there aren't any objections...
This is preposterous.
Do I finish, Captain?
Go on.
The man who fired those 2 shots at Miss Dawson and me last night was Dr. Reed.
Is that quite enough to convince you, Captain?
No,
of this
I
man?
can't prove it. It's my word against his. But I did tell you this morning that I knew the man. Isn't that right?
Lieutenant, why...
And I said he meant to miss us, didn't I?
So you did, but...
Have you noticed how quiet it's gotten around here all of a sudden?
Well, in the first place, Dr. Reed and I have been friends for 8 years.
You said
I
7
didn't-
years last night. You were friends in Bermuda, too. Wasn't that the story? All right, then tell me, how is it someone who's lived all that time on an island where they don't allow automobiles finds one to buy secondhand? And while I'm on you, where's the gun with the silencer you tried to use on me 10 minutes ago?
Gun?
After all, Lieutenant...
After
now,
plenty,
you-
Captain, you take a look at my mattress. It's got 3 bullet holes in it. And Helena put them there. No, I can't prove it.
Well, then, Lieutenant, just what can you prove?
Where's your patient?
Mrs. Pritchett? Captain Archer, this is the very
Next
last...
door in the wheelchair?
Lieutenant, I failed
Would
to
you
see
mind bringing her in?
I most certainly would. I appeal to you, Captain.
Yes, we've heard all this. She's over 80, eyesight failing, weak heart.
Lieutenant, if that's the case,
It's
why...
not the case, Captain. She isn't 30, her eyesight's fine, and if there's anything wrong with her heart, you can blame these 2.
Oh, Lou, what's come over you
Captain, when you
tonight?
ask one of your men to open that door.
Cagle, who is it you expect to find in there?
Look, you see this inhaler? It looks like the regulation menthol variety that people use for colds, doesn't it?
Yeah?
I took it from Reed's desk tonight. Here, smell it.
Menthol? Why, that...
Right, it's chloroform. He's been using it consistently on this woman that he calls Mrs. Pritchett for at least 38 hours. Now, will you get that door open?
Reynolds, open it up.
Wheel her in, Miss Barber. The game's over. There you are. Look at her. Even with the gray wig and the makeup job, there's not much doubt, is there, Captain?
But who is she?
Wake her up. She'll tell you.
Captain, if you allow a hand to be laid on that woman, you'll...
Yesterday morning, a young lady who claimed to be Helena Dawson came to your captain cabin and asked for police protection, didn't she?
Why, of course.
And then you both scoured the passenger list to see who qualified for such a job. In other words, you helped her find out how many cops were on board. That's all she wanted. An accurate count of the opposition. Turned out there was just one, me, and what a break that was for them. If I could be kept busy chasing wild geese, Reed here would be able to wheel his patient right off the ship without even lowering his head.
But I...
Here's the way smart crooks work, Captain. An hour ago, the chief of police in Bermuda sent me a wire saying that Helena Dawson was on this ship. Which is just what everybody's been telling me. If I hadn't smelled that chloroform on deck this morning, the investigation would have stopped right there. The chief was right. She is on this ship, but not the way he thought. Helena Dawson was kidnapped, drugged, and brought aboard in a wheelchair. That wheelchair. And if you don't believe me, wake her up. She knows her own name.
Nurse, bring her in.
Captain Archer, I'm warning you the consequence for such an...
I'm prepared to accept them. Bring her too, nurse.
Look, you're all right. It's okay now. Now listen. Listen to me. Who are you? What's your name? Your name. Your name. What is it?
Helena Dawson.
Okay, Captain, there it is. Sure enough, there it was. A couple of phony names and wrong guesses, and a cop, any cop, who happens to be standing downwind of your chloroform inhaler, and the next thing you know, everybody needs a lawyer. Even smart crooks.
Crime on the Waterfront is written by J.T. Kelly and stars Myron Wallace as Lou Kagle. Listen again next week to another Crime on the Waterfront. This is George Stone speaking.
Welcome back. Well, I like this series and the overall performance by Mike Wallace. A very interesting look at what might have been, if not for the advent of television and his career taking an entirely different different course. And writing was pretty good. Like I said in the first episode, there was probably just way too many of these type of shows on. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, next week, we put it off for 2 weeks, but we're going to go ahead and bring you Pete Kelly's Blues starting next Tuesday. In the meanwhile, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and give us a call at 208-991-4783. And we will see you back here next Tuesday with Pete Kelly's Blues, and then join us again tomorrow for Let George Do It. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I encourage you to check out our website at greatdetectives.net. Well, now it's time for today's episode of Let George Do It, No Escape from the Jungle.
Personal notice, danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Standard Oil Company of California, on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West, invites you to Let George Do It. No Escape from the Jungle, another adventure of George Valentine.
My dear Mr. Valentine, my name is Peter Van Russell. I'm a research chemist for one of the rubber companies with offices in Rangoon. I have devoted my life to my work, which I suppose to someone else would be about as dull as my own person. It has been years since I have even followed the American newspapers, let alone kept abreast of your customs. I have never been in your city before. Now, I say all this so you will understand how impossible it is for me to locate a certain man without your help. A man who, like myself, has just arrived from Burma. A man who is here, but is not here. It is a debt of honor, you understand, purely a personal matter. I must see him. I only have a few days before I return to the jungle.
Wait a minute, Mr. Van Rossel. You said this man is here, but he isn't here.
No, I assure you, it is just as confusing to me as it is to you, Miss Brooks.
Well, to start at the beginning, what's this man's name?
Hollowell. Terence Hollowell. He's about 40 years old. Tall, quite distinguished.
Hollowell, does he live here? Did you look him up in the phone book?
Oh, yes. He maintains a residence.
Well, then what...
Now, I telephoned, you see, from my hotel, and I was informed by a caretaker that Mr. Hollowell won't be arriving from Burma until tomorrow.
Well, okay. Then he just hasn't got here yet.
Now, yes, he has. I came by plane. I'm sure he was at least a day or so ahead of me. Here. Now, that's a little torn.
Cablegram. Van Rossel, Pan Am, Honolulu.
Was waiting for me at the airlines office in Hawaii.
Let me see that. Waste of time. You're trying to contact me. Go right in detail, but assure you that under present circumstances, our meeting one another would be needlessly painful to you. A stroke of fate, that's all. Please understand, Terence Hollowell.
Now, here, this piece here, you see? That cablegram was sent from this city. He sent from here. So he is in town. Yet at his house, they insist he is not. He is here, and he isn't.
Mr. Van Rossel, apparently this man doesn't want to see you wherever he is.
What sort of person is this Hollowell, anyway?
Oh, a traveler, a lecturer. You know, most charming fellow. He stayed with me for a week or so at my plantation north of Rangoon. No, but so easygoing. Not the sort to be mixed up in anything troublesome, you know.
And you have no idea what he's talking about in that cablegram?
No. And I think I should find out, don't you? There's a pearl necklace, 10 black pearls in a necklace.
What's that?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of. Hollowell is a man who admires beauty. I helped him to obtain a necklace, that's all. Oh, it's valuable. He paid nearly every penny he had, nearly $2,500 for it over there.
So it's worth a lot more here.
Oh, yeah. But what could be that...
Yeah, I understand you, Mr. Van Rossel. What could have happened to a perfectly nice guy that made him disappear and yet not disappear?
Yeah, precisely.
Only what do I do when and if I find him? What is it you wanted to see him about in the first place?
Oh, naturally, Mr. Valentine. I will explain anything you wish when the time comes. But right now, the urgent question seems to be, why is Terence Holloway trying to hide? And most important of all, where?
It's a nice-looking house. And a hammock to loaf in. Pretty good.
George, Mr. Van Rossel has already tried calling the house here. I can't see any reason for
Always
our
start with the obvious, Angel. Maybe this Hollowell just doesn't want to be bothered with our Dutch friend. You know, look me up sometime, and then the people take you up on it and you're stuck.
But he was his guest in Burma. He wouldn't be rude.
Hold on a minute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you from the house here? I mean...
It seems so unusual. All those wonderful little birds out at this time of morning. Don't you think?
Well...
They should be sleeping in the middle of the day. Yes. But it's not hot, is it? There's no reason for them to be sleeping here.
Well, we just wondered if you...
Oh, no, I'm not from the house. No, indeed. You see? I have my umbrella.
Yes, I see.
Yes, this is Mr. Hollowell's house, though.
I only carry my umbrella from habit, I suppose. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
You haven't rung the bell yet.
Yes, it's Mr. Hollowell's house. It's his. It's not like him, though, do you think?
We've never met him.
Oh, you've never heard him talk. You've never heard the beautiful words he uses. With such a sad expression. But so exciting. All the romantic places. The intimate, beautiful thoughts. What did you say? Oh, no, I haven't rung the bell, no. You may if you wish, but it won't do any good.
Why not?
She's at home. Perhaps she'll throw you out like she did me. What? His wife, Mrs. Hollowell. Yes, his wife. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just waiting. Just waiting.
Who hired that maid? I asked you, who hired that maid?
Lisa, for heaven's sake, please.
Not a day over 18 and straight out of a model agency, if you ask me. You've seen her. How could any man help seeing her?
But I tell you,
George,
I didn't.
Yeah, the maid said to wait in the hall.
I won't have her around the house.
I did not, Lisa. Now, please, why do you care? It's not your house anymore. You get your separation checks. That's all
That's
that
why
matters.
I'm here. I haven't had a check for 2 months. You've been holding out again.
There isn't any money, I tell you.
You're lying.
Oh, Lisa, darling, I couldn't lie to you if I tried. Don't you believe?
Hello. Is anybody... Oh, excuse me.
How do you do?
Excuse us. I'm Miss Brooks. This is Mr. Valentine. The maid said to come...
Of course. Visitors all over the place. Why not? I'm Mrs. Hollowell.
Oh, but then you must be Mr. Hollowell.
My name is Cy Kirby.
And you walked in and are offended because I make a lot of noise. All right, I don't mind. I'm a nasty woman. Mr. Kirby is my husband's business partner. He belongs here. I don't. He's the one you want to see.
What club do you represent, Mr. Valentine?
What club?
Tell me you're a process server. Which one of my husband's rich women friends do you...
Lisa. Isn't it about a lecture? Really, that's our only business, you know, travel talks. And I just assumed you were like the lady out there with the umbrella or the committee of women out in the hall.
No. Newspaper, that's all. Wanted an interview.
We understood Mr. Hollowell had just arrived from Burma.
He won't be back until tomorrow.
Yes, that's right. Tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Well, I understood he might have arrived already.
No.
But I'm sure Mr. Kirby can tell you everything you want to know about my husband.
Of course. Every bit of publicity counts.
Uh-huh. Well, look, I wondered if we could get a picture of Mr. Hollowell.
Naturally. Delighted. I suppose even Burton Holmes needs a little press cooperation now and then. Come along. We'll find a photograph in his desk.
George, you'll never locate a man just by carrying his picture around.
I will by a telephone pad, Angel.
What?
Yeah, it was on his desk. There's the name of an employment agency scribbled on it. It may be just a cockeyed hunch, but come on. Flavin Home Service Employment Agency. No, Mr. Flavin, there's nothing wrong. I just phoned you to check, that's all. So Mr. Hollowell did hire the girl himself, huh? I see. And he phoned from the Benson Hotel. Okay, thanks a lot.
Now, the man in the photograph? Why, yes. Oh, yes. He's staying here at the Benson.
His name is...
Could you just tell me what his room number is, please?
325. Oh, but his key is in. I think he's probably across the street. What's this all about, Mr. Valentine?
You mean that theater over there?
No, a little jewelry store. I've seen him go in there before.
Jewelry? Yeah. George, remember the pearl necklace?
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know, friend. It's all too much for me. Suppose we just wait...
What's the matter?
Give me that photograph.
George.
That's him, isn't it?
Oh.
May I have my key, please? 325.
Mm-hmm. These people were just asking about you, Mr. Smith.
Oh, they were?
Mr. Smith?
Why, yes, young lady.
Mind if we step over here a second?
Well, no, not at all. But, what do you wish to see me about?
It's Hollowell, isn't it? Isn't that your name?
Oh, why, yes. But who are you? I don't understand.
Neither would the clerk over there if you told him. Neither would I.
No, I don't think there's any law against a man being incognito, is there? Who sent you? My wife? Her lawyer?
Well, that's the obvious explanation, isn't it? She has a little trouble collecting money from you, I understand.
Well, I suppose everyone has money troubles.
Never mind, I'm not interested.
But, what is it you want?
Every minute I want less and less, Buster. Come on, Brooksy. We've done our job. Nice to have met you, Mr. Hollowell.
But, Mr. Valentine...
I located him. That's all you hired me for, Mr. Van Rossel.
Yeah, the Benson Hotel. Now, you've done a very good job.
Oh, wait a minute. Not so fast, friend. You said you'd do a little explaining yourself. Why he sent a wire brushing you off is another matter, and I want to know...
Of course, yes. I said I would tell you. Well, a debt of honor, that's all. And I appreciate so much your finding him. I am really not concerned with whatever his little problems are.
Well, then?
Because I am only here from Burma, you understand, to kill him. Thank you again, Mr. Valentine, for finding him for me.
We'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine in just a moment. To coax thousands of extra miles from your tires, here's a suggestion. Drive your car into any standard station or independent Chevron gas station and let the car savers give you tire service. Here's what they'll do. First, they will check and inflate to correct pressure. This should be done every week, for if your tires are just a few pounds too low, they can wear out twice as fast. Second, the car savers will watch for cuts and bruises, tacks, and glass before they cause trouble. Third, they will switch your tires for you. Almost any kind of driving, you know, puts more wear on rear tires than front ones. On right tires more than left. Switching their position will equalize wear, make them run longer. The result? More mileage for your money and safer driving every mile. For expert tire care and for all car saver services, stop in at any independent Chevron gas station or standard station where they say and mean we take better care of your car. And now, back to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. The business of Terence Hollowell is travel talks. Only from what his partner says, they're not making much money at it these days. Hollowell has trouble with his wife, too. But most of all, he's likely to have trouble with your client. Because if your name is George Valentine, then you have a harmless-looking client, Mr. Van Rossel, who has just said, thanks for finding Hollowell, because now he can kill him.
Hey, wait a minute, you...
Van Rossel gone, George?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hung up and ran. But it'll take him at least 15 minutes to get over here to the hotel.
Well, he wouldn't just come and kill him. Why would he tell you? Why would he warn anybody and then do it?
Oh, lots of crazy people in the world, Angel. But this is no time to argue about it. Hollowell went upstairs to his room, didn't he?
That's right.
Okay, play it safe. Find the house detective. Tell him what it's all about.
As if I knew.
Tell him to keep Hollowell there until I meet you.
Where are you going?
To try and tie this together fast so it does make sense. The jeweler's across the street, Angel. That pearl necklace is the only thing I know about that ties a would-be murderer to his corpse.
Yeah, beautiful. Such pearls I have never seen.
You mean this is it? This one right here?
Yeah. Relic from the days when there was time to collect, when beauty was not rhinestone.
Uh-huh. Now, look, I asked you...
So even to buy something, you must be in a hurry. All right. $15,000. There, you see. Now you think it is too much. Such a hot day, you should take your time. You should sit down.
No, I was just surprised they were for sale.
But Mr. Hollowell's pearls you asked about...
Now, look, he sold them to you. These are the ones he bought in Burma. I know the man who helped him get them.
Well, of course he sold them to me. Now I sell them.
But he's been spending a lot of time over here. His hotel clerk said he was over...
What do you do? Make puzzles for yourself? 2 days I spend making another necklace for Mr. Hollowell. That's all. Cheap, bad one. Culture stuff, junk.
Wait a minute. You mean he sold you this one for a nice profit, but got you to make an imitation?
Every time you turn around, it's got to be a mystery. No. No imitation, just a bad one, that's all. Pearls, yeah, black ones, but nothing illegal, nothing to fool anyone.
Nothing to fool a jeweler.
Only to fool a wife, perhaps.
Huh?
I know this man from before. Well, what's wrong with that? I fool my wife. You fool yours, don't you? So, all right. It's a hot day.
Yeah, Brooksy.
George, he's gone. Mr. Hollowell's gone.
You sure?
He piled some of his luggage into a cab the minute we left earlier.
Oh, brother, everybody disappears.
No, George. The starter remembered the address, or at least enough of it.
Well, where did Hollowell go?
His home. The big travel expert's gone home, that's all.
Such a strange thing to do, such goings on. Lady, this George, you should put in a mystery show.
Mr. Valentine, I'm so sorry I was rude this morning.
Oh, not at all, Mrs. Hollowell.
Through here, please. He's unpacking now. It's the heat, I guess, or waiting for your husband to come home.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
What? Oh, you said he was home. Of course. It's you. Still waiting. Aren't you patient?
I'm all right. Mr. Hollowell is home.
Yes, he came in the other way a little while ago. I'm sure he can see you soon. Don't worry.
Even nice to the clubwomen now, huh?
Oh, and I'm sorry I teased you about your umbrella before. He'll just be a minute.
I'm all right. I'm waiting.
Yes, why not? They're silly, but they pay to hear his lectures. It's a crazy business, his and Silas. And look here. He brought me this.
Pretty necklace.
Oh, you already noticed it. But see, it's real black pearl.
Nice husband.
He bought it with his last penny in Burma. I know it was, because Cy keeps the books and he told me. How could I stay angry at a husband like that? Oh, Terence! Terence, darling.
Yes, my dear?
I won't keep him long, Mrs. Hollowell.
And he wants to kill me, you say? Van Rossel. Imagine his even being here.
Sure. It's very amusing.
He's insane. Of course you know that. Lived in the jungle too long. Nothing but work.
I think it's very amusing the way your wife fell for the phony necklace, too, Buster.
What's that?
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to tell her. She'd start worrying again about that pretty maid you hired. How much does your partner, Cy Kirby, know about that little profit you made on the necklace? Buying it for $2,500.
Buy?
Well, didn't you? In Burma? The real one? Or is that what Van Rossel is upset about? Something to do with that necklace?
Oh, get out of here. You've given me your little warning, and thanks very much. Goodbye.
Oh, no. My curiosity gets bigger and bigger the more I talk.
This is my house. I've done nothing criminal. I got out of here, I said.
I'll get it, George. Hello? Oh, George, it's Lieutenant Johnson.
Yeah, I asked him to call us here.
Yes, Lieutenant. Yes? Mm-hmm. George, they finally found Von Rossel. They picked him up at 5 o'clock. He's been watching that hotel of Hollowell's all afternoon.
Oh, give me that phone. Hello, Johnson. Let me talk to that guy.
No thanks for picking him up. No thanks for anything.
All right. Thanks. Well, will you...
Besides, you're not going to talk to him. He just fainted. Besides, he's downtown, and I'm not.
What? He what?
Things got hotter after you left, I guess. I went at the Hollowells, and boy, do you get things turned around. That Van Rossel of yours is the only one who couldn't have murdered him.
Murdered?
You heard me. Hollowell, the big travel and charm boy, stopped 3 bullets. I don't know. I barely got here myself, Valentine.
Well, his wife was upset. First she was hating him, then she was...
Yeah, I got that. But after you left, she drove to the hotel to get some more of his baggage for him. Took the maid with her. They were the ones found the body when they came back.
Yeah, right here in this hammock.
That's right, in the hammock. What a life.
And if you did...
We got the place pretty well roped off and fast, but it's big, lots of space.
Cy Kirby. Been this guy's partner for years.
Says he was upstairs and didn't hear a thing. We tried it out, and you can't hear from there.
Johnson, wait a minute, will you?
What's the matter?
Look, Johnson, I could have stopped it. I could have added up all the little tips and stopped it.
Take it easy. The guy was a heel, big soft soap artist, big fake, romance with a bucket.
But I could have figured out why a man would tell me he was going to kill in advance. Sure, a debt of honor.
Look, I told you Van Rossel wasn't within
miles. He
miles.
hired me to find the guy, showed me a wire. But suppose it wasn't his wire. Yeah, torn, that's right. First part of the name was torn.
Beat yourself with something I can recognize, will you?
Look, Johnson, every little thing adds up in one direction. So funny the bird should be awake in the middle of the day, she said. Said it wasn't hot on a very hot day.
Look,
I know I'm crazy, but so's murder. We don't even scratch the edges of it, Johnson. But an umbrella does.
Huh?
Yeah, look. Suppose she came from Burma. Suppose Van Rossel was chasing after her, too, trying to protect her in advance, or trying to get Hollowell protected in advance to stop it. Well, the umbrella over there, can't you see it? Suppose it belongs to her. Suppose she's not a clubwoman, Johnson, but Van Rossel's wife.
George, there she is.
Yeah, I know. She's got a revolver.
She's watching us. Stay where you are.
All right, lady, sure. Now, don't worry. My name isn't Hollowell.
I killed him. Did you know that?
I know. But take it easy, please. It's all over.
No, it was all over a week ago. He told me that when he left Burma. But I wouldn't believe
she was in love with him. Oh, George, the poor thing.
No, just waiting till he got here to shoot him.
Oh, leave me alone. Please, leave me alone.
You are Mrs. Van Rossel, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I was. I mean...
I know. Your husband told me about Hollowell visiting you for a week.
I followed him. What of it? So I'm a stupid, middle-aged fool.
I saw the cablegram that missed you in Honolulu.
Get away, please. Please get away.
I'm sorry, lady. I want that... All right, Brooksy, take it easy. She's shooting in the dirt. She doesn't want to hurt us. It's just Hollowell that she...
No, but I said, get away!
Hey, that's 3 shots, Brooksy. And there's 3 in Hollowell. That makes 6. All right, it's all over now, lady. You've done all your shooting.
Get away, I said!
Oh, brother, have I been wrong?
George, she's pointing it at herself.
Hey, look out! Yeah, sure, lady. Still another shell. All right, now let's see your purse. You've got your purse, haven't you?
There it is, George. She dropped it.
No shells there. Guess we did some good after all, Angel. Everybody else had a motive, too. Wonder which one shot him first.
What?
This revolver only holds 6 shells. Did Hollowell say anything to you when you found him out there in that hammock?
What? Oh, no. No, I've been waiting until I couldn't stand it anymore. And I went out and I found him there. And I did what I came from Burma for. I shot him.
Lady, you fired your gun 4 times just now. There are 3 bullets in Hollowell. 3 and 4 is 7. So who shot him first? Cy Kirby, Mr. Van Rossel. He was the only one it could have been. You see the others, his wife and the
I
maid.
understand, yeah.
Well, they got him fast enough. He didn't have any story cooked up. It wasn't premeditated or anything.
Of course.
I think they'll be able to prove that your wife only shot a dead body, Mr. Van Rossel.
Yeah, I see.
You really, do you? I mean, you still haven't told us about your wife and Hollowell and
Kirby, that was his partner, yeah. There was, some difficulty?
Well, they've been holding out on him. Over $10,000 profit on a necklace. The only reason Hollowell lied about his return to Kirby was to give him time to arrange for its sale without anyone knowing. Been going on for years, apparently. This time, Kirby caught up with him.
Oh, it wasn't really that, though. It was Mrs. Hollowell. No matter how mad she got at her husband for carrying on with other women, no matter how many times they separated, she always went back to him.
And Kirby couldn't stand it. He loved her, too.
It's always love, one way or another. The same as your coming after your wife, even after she'd left you.
I suppose there will be a trial. I suppose my wife...
Well, there certainly will be an investigation. Maybe about shooting somebody who's already dead, but... Why won't you talk about your wife? Why won't you tell me what I want to know, that silly business of the necklace that kept confusing us?
That was a wedding present I gave to her years ago. She gave to him. That's all.
Nice guy, Hollowell.
Yeah. But your wife, I mean, she knows that you came after her trying to help. She knows what you're really like, or she wouldn't have tried to kill Hollowell. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Yeah, this a dull place we live in. And I am not much excitement myself, not glamorous like the United States. No. We work it out somehow. Don't worry so much. Goodbye.
What was that line of yours, Brooksy? One way or another, it's always love.
Go on, darling. There's nothing I'd rather hear you talk about.
Look ahead to extra miles of trouble-free engine performance. Look to new RPM motor oil, the oil that doubles engine life between major overhauls due to lubrication. Friends, it's a fact that motor oil can make a big difference in how long your engine lasts. Recently, atomic research tools have been used to discover what kind of oil formula it takes to cut engine wear and oil consumption way down. Scientists have developed a revolutionary motor oil, new RPM. Listen to what it can do for you. Compared with premium-type motor oils, as designated by the American Petroleum Institute, new RPM cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts in the kind of driving most people do. We call it stop-and-go driving, short trips around town, shopping, short commutes, when your engine never really warms up. Here's another point. New RPM doubles protection against gummy carbon, acid, and varnish. No matter what kind of driving you do, your car will be a better car longer with the motor oil that doubles engine life between major overhauls due to lubrication. New RPM. Ask for it at standard stations or independent Chevron gas stations, where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George. Let George Do It is written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by Don Clark. Brooksy was played tonight by Michael Ann Barrett. Ken Christie was heard as Lieutenant Johnson, Larry Dobkin as Van Rossel, Lorene Tuttle as Mrs. Van Rossel, Bill Boucher as Hollowell, Doris Singleton as Lisa, and John Daner as Cy. The music is composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter, your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. Let George Do It is heard overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, interesting, twisting story. Interesting for some of the acting appearances. Of course, we had a different actress playing Brooksy. In Michael Ann Barrett. Not a whole lot is known about Miss Barrett. She had a great radio career, not a whole lot on television. Her last TV appearance was on a 1958 episode of Dragnet called The Big Cracker Box. But you hear her name quite a bit. Kind of a journeywoman, no real information on her. I love the way that Larry Dobkin performed in this episode. It was just a fantastic performance. And really, with a lot of the voices in radio, that are so key, the William Conrads and Gerald Moore and Frank Lovejoy, those type of actors, they're important because they're willing to play a wide variety of roles. But you can kind of hear it's them. Lawrence Dobkin has got this very unique voice, where you cannot tell it's Dobkin. And he really creates these characters, just does a fantastic job in building these up. So always interesting to see what voice Dobkin will provide. And he's been very critical on Let George Do It, and I think most of the Hollywood-based series we've played many episodes of. All right. Well, that will actually do it for today. We will be back tomorrow with Sherlock Holmes, and then join us next week for another episode of Let George Do It. Well, today's episode, I do want to begin with a note from Cindy, who says, Adam, just about the time I really start enjoying a new show I haven't heard before, Nero Wolfe and Poirot, they come to an end. Thank you so much for putting all these together. Is your book going to be available through Barnes & Noble at all? Referring to, I believe, All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. Well, that is the plan. And it should be available at Barnes & Noble shortly. You can also purchase a copy off of Smashwords. When you get it off of Smashwords, you can get it in the format that goes for the Nook. And it is already available over in the Sony store and in the Kobo store. I do encourage you to pick up a copy of my ebook, All I Needed to Know I Learned from Columbo. We take a look at 7 great detectives, including Columbo, Monk, Nero Wolfe, and, of course, Sherlock Holmes. Well, speaking of that, it's time for today's episode of Sherlock Holmes. This one is called The Adventure of the Veiled Lodger.
From New York City, the makers of Clipper Craft Clothes for Men and 1,036 leading retail stores from coast to coast present the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. This week's story, The Adventure of the Veiled Lodger. Well, here we are again, about to enter Dr. Watson's familiar study. But, wait, what's this? Boxes and suitcases and trunks. Fishing rods and nets and reels piled up in the hallway.
Oh, don't let it upset you, Mr. Heiress. It simply means Mrs. Watson and I are about to start off on our summer vacation. Personally, I'd just as soon stay comfortably at home. But you know how women are. Have to have an excuse to buy a lot of new summer clothes, and then you have to go off somewhere to show them off.
Oh, yes. Seems to me I've heard you'd bought quite a few new Clippercraft suits and sport jackets yourself, Dr. Watson.
Well, you wouldn't want me to embarrass the little woman, would you?
Oh, good grief, no. And there's one way of making sure the women of the family will be proud of you.
Of course, buy Clippercraft.
All right, you are, Dr. Watson. And now, before you begin the story you promised us, The Adventure of the Veiled Lodger...
Which has to do with a very horrible murder that interrupted a fishing trip Holmes and I were enjoying. It was brought to our attention by little Jojo, the clown who traveled with Rhonda's circus. It seems that Sahara King, the lion, had got loose.
Hey, hold on a minute, Dr. Watson. Before we meet these clowns and lions and circus murders, suppose I say a few words on behalf of the generous gentlemen who have footed the bill for this long and delightful series of Sherlock Holmes reminiscences.
That is a motion I second with pleasure, Mr. Heiress.
Very well, then, Doctor. You can buy clothes for almost any price you wish to pay, but it's hard to believe you can buy such really magnificent suits for only $40 to $47.50. Tropicals for only $33.75 to $40, and sport jackets for only $26.50. We're speaking of Clippercraft clothes, of course. The only way you can prove this to yourself is by seeing Clippercraft for yourself, and by comparing them with suits selling for many dollars more. Clippercraft clothes are made according to a plan that makes these out-of-this-world values possible. In the Clippercraft plan, 1,036 of the nation's finest independent stores from coast to coast, stores you can trust, voluntarily concentrate their buying power to provide steady year-round operation, reduce manufacturing and distribution costs. Despite rising manufacturing costs, you make a real saving. See your Clippercraft dealer tomorrow. Compare Clippercraft with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, Dr. Watson, back to our final story.
Well, Mr. Heiress, when I was packing my fishing paraphernalia this morning, it put me in mind of the horrible catastrophe that interrupted a certain trip Holmes and I were indulging in. Fishing was one of the few sports, you know, that Holmes enjoyed. Yes, the last character in that tragic episode died just last winter. The poor lady who lived in a lodging house in total seclusion, going out only at night, and then always heavily veiled. Yes, I have finally decided to tell the case of the double tragedy at Abbas Parva.
Abbas Parva. That's a curious name, Doctor. Was it in Italy?
No, Mr. Heiress. Abbas Parva is a small village in Berkshire. Rhonda's circus had halted there for the night on its way to Wimbledon. They were simply camping and not exhibiting, as the place is so small it wouldn't have paid them to open.
Rhonda's circus. I don't believe I've heard of it, Doctor. Was it a big one?
No, for those days, yes. Rhonda was at one time a household word in England and on the continent. I don't believe he ever went to the United States. He was the rival of Womwell and of Sanger, perhaps the greatest showman of his day. There is evidence, however, that he took to drink, and that both he and his show were on the downgrade at the time of the great tragedy. Well, it was spring, and the trout season was on. Holmes and I had gone to Berkshire to a place we knew for a bit of fishing. Late one afternoon, we received a message from Rhonda's circus that it was encamped in the neighboring hamlet of Abbas Parva. It seems Jojo wanted to see us. It was a fine evening, so after supper, Holmes suggested we stroll over and have a chat with him. Jojo was an old friend of Sherlock Holmes.
Mr. Holmes certainly had a great variety of acquaintances, Doctor. Everything from clowns to cabinet ministers.
Yes, quite. And I rather suspect he preferred the clowns. He always said they were more human. Well, we found Jojo behind the cook tent smoking his evening pipe. The peculiar, exhilarating smell that a circus carries with it hung heavy in the still air.
I know. It's made up of animals and peanuts and sawdust and canvas and pink lemonade.
That's as good a description as any, Mr. Heiress. Well, everything looked peaceful enough, but there was an undercurrent of excitement about. Somewhere in the distance, A lion roared.
What's wrong with that lion, Jojo? He sounds uneasy.
Oh, you mean Sahara King? Getting near his feeding time.
Sounds vicious, eh, Holmes?
That he is, sir. Vicious. Came near to mauling Jeannie when she went into his cage for last night's show.
Who is Jeannie?
Well, now, don't tell me you don't know Jeannie, Mr. Holmes. I'll bet you Genia, the greatest artist on a slack wire this country ever had, until she cut a ligament in her right leg one night last year when a drunken roustabout hadn't put up her equipment proper like. Yes, a fine girl, Jeannie. Born and brought up on the sawdust and doing springs through her hoop before she was 10. The prettiest youngster you ever did see. Hair like red gold and cheeks as pink as roses. Well, she's only 28 now, and an handsome woman still, but she's seen a bit of life, Mr. Holmes, and it's left its mark, I guess.
Oh? What happened?
Well, when she was going on 18, she married Rhonda.
You mean the man who owns this outfit?
Yeah, that's him. August H. Rhonda. And there ain't a wild animal in any of his cages can touch him for pure downright meanness and cruelty.
Well, didn't the young lady know that when she married him?
Oh, she knew it right enough. Ain't anyone in show business to know about Rhonda. She married him to save her dad from going to prison. You see, Rhonda got him for forging a check. Some say it was a put-up job. And I'm not saying it wasn't likely, seeing as Jeannie's father never learned to read or write. Howsoever, Rhonda seemed to think he had a case, so Jeannie married him to keep things hushed up. Yes, sir, that check was for £100, but I guess Jeannie has had £1 million worth of suffering since then. Rhonda kept getting worse and worse. First it was drink, then women. And then he took to beating her up.
The unmitigated blackguard.
Yes. I kind of figure he hated her because he knew he wasn't fit to clean her boots. Always figuring out new ways to torture her. And when she fell and cut her leg and couldn't walk the wire anymore, he said she had to do something to earn a living. He put her in the cages, doing an act with the big cats.
You mean the lions and tigers?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Well, Jeannie's always been afraid of them ever since she was a baby. Couldn't even stand the sight of a common, ordinary house cat. Some folks are like that, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, it's a not uncommon phobia.
Yes, sir. And so when Rhonda made Jeannie work with the big cats, it was pure torture to her. And maybe he didn't know that. Yes, sir. He even makes her feed them. Says it's because they'll feel more friendly toward her if she does. But between you and me, it's because they always roar so at feeding time, and that terrifies her. You see?
Present medieval gentleman. He should have lived at the time of the Spanish Inquisition. Look here, why didn't someone in the circus interfere? Go to the police.
Well, we don't dare for fear of losing our jobs. Well, besides, what could we prove?
Watson, the circus is a world of its own, and the people in it are born, brought up, and finally die under canvas. They travel here and there, never making any real contact with outside life. If one of the performers had stepped in to protect Mrs. Rhonda, he'd have lost his job and never been able to get into a circus again, in all probability.
Yes, sir, that's right.
As I said, the circus is a world of its own. It has its own loves and hates, its own laws and standards. And Rhonda is its czar, its Caesar, its god. The circus performer, there is no life outside the circus. Take him away from the sawdust and the circus smells, its eternal wanderings, its audiences, its hardships, and he's as lost and out of place as you would be on Mars.
Yes, sir. And that's why no one's ever called in the police. First, because we don't dare, and second, because we don't like outsiders poking around our affairs. Ah, but you're different, Mr. Holmes. You understand us. Besides, you're not a regular blue nose.
Yes, that's what he's always saying, not one of the official police.
Yes, sir. And so that's why, Mr. Holmes, I thought maybe you'd kind of take a look around. Maybe you might be in time to prevent something.
What do you mean by something, Jojo?
Best if I know, Mr. Holmes, but something's going to happen. It ain't going to be pretty. I got a feeling, a kind of warning, and I ain't the only one. The rest of them, they got the wind up, too. We don't know exactly why.
Yes, I noticed that everything was unnaturally quiet as I came past the tents tonight. No singing and shouting, none of the usual couples walking around arm in arm. Everyone seems to be undercover.
Yeah, that's what they are, sir. Undercover. And listening. Waiting. for something to happen. Some people say we circus folks is superstitious. You call it what you like. But we always knows when something's going to happen. The night before the big blowdown, outside of Dover, when 20 people was killed, there was a feeling like this, all through the camp. The same way when Lillian Deland's trapeze snapped and she broke her neck. Even the animals seemed to feel it. I tell you, Mr. Holmes, something's going to happen. But we don't know what.
Perhaps you do. Subconsciously.
I'm afraid I didn't get that, Mr. Holmes. That's pretty big words, whatever it was.
Subconsciously. All I mean is this, Jojo. We are aware of a lot of things in the back of our minds that we don't actually think out. The back of our minds notices a lot of little things we don't even remember. And it adds all these little things together and reaches some rather surprising conclusions. Now and then, these conclusions amount to a knowledge of danger. And the subconscious mind tries to flash us a warning, and we feel uncomfortable because we cannot go back into our unconscious minds and dig out the items that have gone to make up the total.
Well, if you can't, I guess.
But sometimes you can, if you have help. Now then, Jojo, you say you're worried, and Jeannie Rhonda is obviously uppermost in your mind.
Yes, sir. I don't feel right about Jeannie. Not since Sahara King tried to maul her last night. That's a fact.
I see. But she doesn't have to go into his cage again until you reach your next stand. Am I right?
Well, no. Well, that is, she's supposed to feed him tonight. But I heard her say to Rhonda this afternoon she wasn't going near the beast again, ever.
Defiance. Rather unusual after all these years, eh, Jojo?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. It's an hour past Sahara King's feeding time. He's getting worse every minute.
Jojo, what has happened lately to give Jeannie Rhonda the courage to defy her husband?
Well, sir, that is, I really don't know, by rights.
But you suspect something.
Well, that is, I really wouldn't like to say, you see, I'm fond of Jeannie.
Someone has joined the circus lately, someone who isn't afraid of Rhonda, but who is fond of Jeannie. Am I right?
Well, I wouldn't say he's really fond of her. Maybe it's just because if Rhonda dies, the circus belongs to his widow. And anyone can see that Rhonda's liable to have apoplexy any day if he don't give up drinking like a sponge. But, well, bless me. How did you guess, Mr. Holmes?
Nothing persuades a woman to defy one man as quickly as the knowledge that there's another man to back her up. And who is this chap who isn't afraid of Rhonda?
It's Leonardo, the new strong man. He's handsome, all right, strong as an ox, but I don't trust him, Mr. Holmes. He don't look you straight in the eye. Oh, I'm not blaming Jeannie. I guess compared to old Rhonda, he looked like the angel Gabriel, and besides, he's the first man that ever did show her any attention. She's been pretty lonely sometimes.
Do you think Rhonda suspects this attachment?
That I don't know, Mr. Holmes. I wish to heaven I did. Seems he came home unexpected last night. As a rule, he sits drinking in some pub or other until closing time, but last night he came home early, and Jeannie wasn't in their wagon. He liked to tore up the place. But whether he found out something, I couldn't say.
I wish someone would feed that beast so it'd stop that caterwauling. It gives me goose flesh all up and down my spine.
And well it may. If he ain't fed soon, it won't be safe for anyone to go in his cage.
Yes. Come along, Watson. I think the sooner we reach it, the better.
Oh, you mean you're going to interview that lion?
What do you think it is, Mr. Holmes? What's going to happen?
I'm not certain, Jojo. But doesn't it strike you as curious that if Rhonda isn't going to force his wife to feed the beast, he hasn't sent someone else to do it?
You think he's just letting her put it off until the beast's in a filthy, dangerous rage?
In a killing rage, perhaps.
By Jiminy. That'd be just like him. To make her go in there, and not a chance of
Exactly. And no one could ever prove he meant to kill her.
Oh, we must be almost there. That beast sounds unpleasantly close.
Just around this tent, sir.
Holmes, why are you cocking a revolver? You don't actually think...
Listen, someone on the other side of the tent talking.
Oh, yes, you will. Think you can defy me, my girl? I'll show you.
But I'm afraid. Oh, Augustus, please, just this once.
It's them, Rhonda and Jeannie.
Open that cage and get in there. I'll flog the skin off your back. I'll show you who's your master. Thought I didn't know you were sneaking out nights. Unlock that cage!
Oh, hurry, we must stop her. She can't go in there.
Help! Help! Sahara's loose! Help! Help!
There they are. Sahara's out of the cage.
Got her down. In her face. Stand back, Watson. I'm going to shoot.
You got him! You got him! Jeannie. Jeannie. Are you hurt? Her face.
Oh, it's torn to pieces. She's covered with blood. Oh, Jeannie.
Easy there,
Jeannie.
Jojo, easy. Watson, is she dying?
No, I think we can save her, but she'll be horribly disfigured.
And this man over here, I take it this is Rhonda.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Sahara must have got him, too.
He's gone, I'm afraid. Back of the skull completely crushed. Good Lord, that animal must have had a paw like a sledgehammer. Look how the claws tore the scalp.
I wonder.
Well, I must say I don't see anything to wonder about, Holmes. The lion escaped from the cage and went for both of them.
Yes, but why not the other man as well?
What other man?
The one who screamed and ran away.
Oh, coward. He could have saved me. Coward.
The makers of Clippercraft clothes are thinking not only of the suit you'll buy tomorrow, but of the suit you'll buy next year and in the years to come. That's why you can always depend on the Clippercraft label, why Clippercraft makes a business of bringing you one of the greatest values in America. Behind that smart-looking Clippercraft suit is the amazing Clippercraft plan, responsible for Clippercraft's unique values. You get the benefit of tremendous savings through the Clippercraft plan, whereby 1,036 of the nation's finest independent local stores from coast to coast voluntarily concentrate their buying power. Because of this plan, your fine new Clippercraft suit costs only $40 to $47.50, your tropical only $33.75 to $40, and your sport jacket only $26.50. For selling expensive clothes at inexpensive low prices at the nation's finest stores is the great big idea behind the Clippercraft plan. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. Be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suits, sport jackets, and tropicals. In Manhattan, John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
And now back to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. We find Holmes smoking his pipe deep in contemplation as he waits for Dr. Watson to finish caring for Mrs. Ronder. The night is black and breathless. Even the animals are hushed. A heavy-footed figure approaches.
Well, Watson?
She'll live, but she won't enjoy it, I'm afraid.
Horribly disfigured, eh?
Look here, Holmes, it's getting late. Let's be getting on home. There's nothing more we can do here. After all, you can't arrest a lion for murder, you know.
If it was a lion, Watson.
Oh, what do you mean, if it was a lion? We saw him, didn't we, tearing at that poor woman's face?
I'm not thinking about the woman, Watson, but her husband. He was lying fully 10 paces from the cage. I doubt if the lion ever got that far.
Oh, rubbish, Holmes. You're trying to build bricks without straw. This isn't a case for the police.
Perhaps not. It may very well be a case for Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that's conceit, pure and simple. Come along, Holmes. I'm nearly dead for sleep.
So you don't think it's a case, Watson?
No, I don't.
Then would you mind telling me what, to your way of thinking, did happen?
Well, it's all rather obvious. Jeannie Ronder opened the cage, the enraged lion jumped past her, killed her husband with a blow, and then returned to finish her off.
It was the back of Ronda's skull that was crushed, remember?
Well, naturally, he turned and ran when he saw the beast coming for him.
And the man's voice, the man we heard shouting for help?
Oh, Holmes, don't be pig-headed. Of course Ronda called for help when he saw the lion was out of control.
You mean to tell me a man can still cry out with the back of his head battered in?
Well, no, that is...
And we could still hear his voice after his wife's cries had been stilled?
Well, of course...
Furthermore, Ronda's body was lying with the head pointing towards the cage, not away from it, as would have been the case if he'd been running away and attacked from the rear. No, Watson, Ronder was facing the cage when he was struck down. Struck down by the man who called for help but ran away when the lion, infuriated by the smell of human blood, turned on Mrs. Ronder.
Yes, but...
That's why she kept saying, coward, he could have saved me. That man could have driven off the lion with a weapon used to kill Ronder if he hadn't lost his nerve.
Yes, but look here, Holmes. Ronder was killed by the lion. He must have been. The marks of his claws were left on the skull. You saw that yourself.
Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes.
Oh, there you are, Jojo. What does she say? Did she see who killed her husband?
She won't talk, Mr. Holmes. I can't get a word out of her.
But I think she knows right enough. Oh, it's terrible. She just lies there, moaning and crying for Leonardo.
And where is that gentleman?
I tried to find him for her, but they tell me he went off to town soon after supper. What? Yeah, there he is now. Coming up the road from Abbot's Parlour. Yeah, I must run and tell him what's happened. Jeannie wants to see him. He's the only one who can comfort her.
Oh, that should be an interesting interview, Watson. Suppose we wander over to Mrs. Ronda's wagon. I believe it has a convenient window.
You mean you're going to eavesdrop?
That is my intention.
Holmes, have you no moral scruples?
None whatever, my dear Watson. None whatever. Here, Watson. Get down behind these bushes, out of the light of that window.
Yes, but I shan't be able to see anything.
Have you no moral scruples, Watson? Oh. We don't have to see. All we have to do is hear. Quiet. Here come Leonardo and Jojo.
Hello, Jeannie.
Leo, why did you do it? You promised
Shut
me.
up, will you? Jojo's here.
Oh, I didn't know. I can't see with these bandages.
Yeah. Just told me what happened. Met me on the road coming back from Abbot's Parlour. I'm sorry, Jeannie. You got pretty badly mauled.
Yes, but that doesn't matter. Oh, Leo, we won't have to run away now. Rhonda, he's gone. We can get married, decent-like.
Married? What makes you think I'm going to marry you?
But, Leo, you promised.
You think I want to be tied up for life to a woman with only half a face left? You might as well expect me to marry one of the freaks.
Leo. Leo, don't laugh. It's your fault that Sahara mauled me. You could have driven him off with a club you used to...
Shut up, you fool. Shut up.
Don't you do it. Don't you touch her, Leo. I'll warn you.
Well, listen to who's talking. Jojo, get out of here before I cripple you so you can't walk. Now, get out, do you hear?
Leo, don't hurt him. Jojo, please go. You can't do any good. We get on better if we're alone. Please, Jojo.
All right, Jeannie. But just you let me know if he don't treat you right.
Go on, get out before I kick you
I'm
out.
going.
You ought to see him run.
Nasty brute. I'd like to...
Quiet, Watson. Quiet.
Leo, you didn't mean what you just said.
Oh, didn't I? I'm pulling out of here tomorrow.
But Leo, the circus, it's mine now. You can have it if we're married. You've always wanted to run a circus.
No, sir. I'm sensitive, I am. I never could stand looking at an ugly woman. Why, I'd as soon as marry a gargoyle as a woman without a face.
Leo, I can wear a mask.
No, it's no good. I'm clearing out of here tomorrow.
No, you're not.
Well, who's going to stop me?
I will. I'll go to the police. I'll tell them that you killed Rhonda. They'll arrest you.
And what about you? Your hands aren't any too clean, remember?
But I didn't kill him. I didn't know you were going to. All I wanted you to do was keep him from sending me into that cave.
And who's going to believe that? We're in this together. You can't hand me over without putting a rope around your own neck.
But I didn't do it. I didn't. I never wanted him killed. You can't do that to me.
Shut up, you're hysterical.
You can't leave me like this, Leo.
Now let go of me and stop screaming. You want everybody in camp to hear?
I can't. I don't care. I won't let you go.
That's good, that is. Won't let me go. How are you going to stop me? And another thing. I never did love you.
Oh.
Now, do you get that? Never. All the time I was after the circus. But now I don't want it. Not if I've got to have you along with it.
I'll kill you, Leo. I'll kill you for this.
Go ahead. You haven't got the nerve. Well, I'm going.
Leo. Leo. Oh.
Holmes, you're not going to let him go like that. He's guilty.
Cut him.
Holmes, she shot him.
Quick, Watson. We've got to see him. Perhaps he's not dead yet.
I wish we'd stayed home tonight.
Here he is, Watson. Help me turn him over.
Righto.
Yes, he's dead right enough. Hit between the eyes. Nice shot.
So, she did have the nerve after all.
No, Watson. Jeannie Ronda did not shoot Leonardo.
Yeah, but Holmes, look
She
here.
couldn't. Her eyes were bandaged. Come along, Watson. We're going home. I think I could use a bit of sleep myself.
But I say, Holmes, look here. Aren't you going to stay around and find out who shot him?
I don't think I want to know, Watson. We solved the first murder. That's enough for one evening. Besides, did I ever tell you that Jojo's father was famous for his tricks with a rifle? Yes, I believe his sons weren't half bad either.
But, Dr. Watson, didn't the police ever discover who killed Leonardo?
No, Mr. Harris, they didn't. His body was discovered on the road to Abbas Parva. I dare say some of the circus people suspected the culprit, but circus people are notoriously close-mouthed.
Well, Doctor, there's one more point I don't quite understand. How did the marks of the lion's claws happen to be found on Ronder's skull if Leonardo killed him?
Well, it was really rather simple, Mr. Harris. Holmes eventually found a club with 5 spikes in it at the bottom of the scum-covered pool in the neighborhood. I don't believe he ever mentioned the fact to anyone, however.
Well, that was certainly a very powerful story, Dr. Watson. In fact, Doctor, I'd say it was one of the best stories you've ever told.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I like to finish on a high point, don't you know?
But you're not going to go away and leave us for good, are you?
You really want me to come back in the fall?
You know we do, Dr. Watson. Why, the week would be kind of empty without a Sherlock Holmes adventure to look forward to.
Well, in that case, I think it could be arranged. All I wanted was a little coaxing, you know.
Well, then consider yourself coaxed, Dr. Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And a most heartfelt thank you to all our radio friends who have so patiently listened to the reminiscences of a venerable medico who was fortunate enough to become the biographer of Sherlock Holmes. And last, but by no means least, thanks to our generous sponsors who have made these half hours possible.
You know, Dr. Watson, I sometimes suspect they are Sherlock Holmes fans, too.
I hope so, Mr. Harris. I certainly hope so. And now a pleasant vacation to you and all our friends.
The same to you, Dr. Watson, and have fun in your new Clippercraft wardrobe. The makers of Clippercraft clothes and 1,036 leading stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by Alfred Shirley, and the dramatizations are by Edith Meiser. Sherlock Holmes is produced and directed by Basil Lochran, with special music by Albert Berman. John Stanley, known best to you as Sherlock Holmes, has turned author. Be sure to read his article, Powder Smoke at 221B Baker Street, in the current issue of Black Mask magazine, now on your newsstand. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Well, cheerio, Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, and members of the Clippercraft radio audience until the fall. Best wishes for a most pleasant summer from the makers of Clippercraft clothes for men and 1,036 leading stores from coast to coast. Remember, we'll be on the air again next fall, when Clippercraft will again bring you the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. This is Cy Harris speaking for Clippercraft Clothes. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Following station identification, you'll hear Melvin Elliott reporting the latest headline news.
Welcome back. Well, an interesting series conclusion. I know that The Veiled Lodger was one of Doyle's later stories. This one doesn't really have a whole lot, the way at least this adaptation was done, there wasn't a whole lot for Holmes to do actively. More witnesses to being a witness to what was going on. So kind of an odd note to end the season. But Clippercraft already pledged that there would be another season of Sherlock Holmes. It's a little bit unusual. Certainly a lot of shows plan towards there being a season 2. But Clippercraft to commit in June that, we're going to be back in September, meant that the show, despite some of the quality complaints that some folks have had, still was drawing quite a few listeners. But of course, Alfred Shirley, who played Watson, he was correct that Dr. Watson would be back in the fall. But Alfred Shirley, not so much. Indeed, next week we're going to have a new Dr. Watson and a new season. We will be talking about that next week, so be eagerly looking forward to that. We do have some listener comments, a couple I missed, just want to go ahead and address. This one came back from April 19th. Darlene said, oops, I'm sure many people will post about this, but host Adam Graham deduced that the illustrious client was the king. But England had no king from 1837 to 1901, nor do the three ostrich plumes denote king or queen. The illustrious client's coat of arms indicate that he was the Prince of Wales. Well, thanks so much for the clarification there. To be honest, I guess I was thinking back to the Rathbone series where they had an encounter indeed with the King of England. So thanks so much for catching that, keeping me honest. Always appreciated. Well, we do have some other listener comments to get to here. Benjamin emails in. Hi, Adam. Firstly, love the work. Now I'm doing a drama and performance exam with AMEB. I'm wondering if you knew where I could obtain a Sherlock Holmes script. The catch is it has to have a corresponding novel. If you can help, that would be great. Well, in terms of corresponding novels, there's certainly old-time radio scripts that have been transcribed, and others that are in existence. However, the ones that were novels, there are two ways it could be novels. Of course, if it was based on a full-length Sherlock Holmes story. And pretty much all those were lost episodes, so the only way to get those, there is a BBC version of several of the novels you could transcribe. Or alternately, this could be about an episode that was adapted into a novel, and unfortunately I'm not aware of those. So, yeah, I wish I could be more help, but thanks for the question. Phil comments over on Facebook, why am I craving eel pie ale? Eel pie ale and Clippercraft clothes. It's the persuasive power of radio. And I've actually found myself, thinking, it's too bad this product, various products, it's too bad this product is defunct, because it sounds real good right now. Some definite power there in that radio advertising. I listened to some of the early Lum and Abners from 1931. Not 31, but 35, 36. They were sponsored by Horlicks. Horlicks made a malted milk as kind of a nutritional supplement. And, they talked about all the things Horlicks was supposed to do. So I actually hunted down on the internet and found, Horlicks had actually been acquired by a British company, so you can't get it normally in America, but I actually went to the trouble to find and buy some Horlicks malted milk. So that advertising, it does pay off. All right. Well, that will actually do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow with yours truly, Johnny Dollar. And then join us next Thursday for another episode of Sherlock Holmes. And coming up next Tuesday, we have Pete Kelly's Blues. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support. And now it's time for today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This one's called The Isabel James Matter.
For your listening enjoyment, John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
Donald Maynard, Johnny.
Oh, hello, Mr. Maynard. Haven't talked to you in a long time.
Want to go to work?
Sure. What is it?
We insure a Miss Isabel James, Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's been killed.
How?
Murdered. Want you to leave as soon as you can, Johnny.
Won't take me long. See you at your office in an hour, and you can fill me in on the details.
We'll return to our program in just a few moments. But first, someone once said, necessity is the mother of invention. In other words, every inventor feels that there is a definite need for whatever he invents. It may be as large as a battleship or as small as a pin. But someone, somewhere, will find a use for it. And just to make sure that no one tries to cash in on his inventions, every inventor carefully takes out a patent or copyright on whatever it is that he has invented. Where does he go to get his patents or copyrights? Probably to the Department of Commerce, since that is the prime concern of the department. For example, suppose you invent a widget with two handles instead of one. Well, this means, of course, a big boon to widget users because it can now be operated by left-handed as well as right-handed people. Having invented a two-handled widget, you and your inventive genius should be protected. So you contact the Commerce Department and apply for a patent. The department also registers the trademarks and labels you use in selling two-handled widgets so that no one else can claim he invented the two-handled widget and collect the money that should be rightfully yours when you make and sell your particular type of widget. Now, suppose you also write a book on the history of the two-handled widget or a song titled The Love Song of the Two-Handled Widget. You take them to the Department of Commerce and have them copyrighted. This way, you can always prove that the book and the song are your property. So if some foreign inventor suddenly appears with the startling announcement that his country claims the honor of having invented the two-handled widget or the one-wheel doohickey, you can prove he is mistaken by producing the prior patent you have registered with the United States Department of Commerce.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, National Life and Casualty Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Isabel James matter. Expense account item 1, $103.65, plane fare and incidentals between Hartford and Tulsa, Oklahoma, after receiving from you the necessary information concerning the case. I arrived in Tulsa the next morning, registered at the hotel, and went directly to the police station where I introduced myself to Captain Clifford Kissig.
Yeah, got a teletype from your company. Said you'd be in this morning. Good trip?
Fine.
You're investigating the Isabel James murder.
That's right. I was hoping you'd give me some help.
I'd sure like to, but it got us stumped. We've had 3 others like this already.
3 others?
Yeah. All the same. Isabel James was the 4th. Looks like Tulsa's got a Jack the Ripper.
All with their throats cut?
Yeah, 4 killings in the last 3 weeks.
You're after a madman.
Yeah. Pretty smart madman. Haven't got a lead.
Not a one?
Always picks a lonely spot, never a witness, never anyone who saw anything or heard anything.
What's he use, a knife?
The lab thinks it's a razor. Straight razor. Got the town that'll jump it.
I can understand.
But we'll get something. Sooner or later, the killer will make a slip or somebody will tell us something.
What happens in the meantime?
We just gotta pray there ain't no more killing.
How far is Dawson from Tulsa?
Not very far. Going over to see the dead girl's uncle.
Yeah, he's the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm. I found the policy in her belongings. I was the one notified your company.
You know the uncle?
Had him come down and identify the body. How much did he get?
10,000.
Well, he can use it. Just an old farmer.
Well, I'm going to run over and see him.
All right. How long are you going to be in town?
Well, I'm being paid to investigate a murder. I guess I'll be around until somebody catches a killer. Captain Kissig advised me where I could rent a car, and a half hour later I was driving a small coupe out of the Tulsa city limits heading for Dawson. The dead girl's uncle, Morley Parrish, lived a few miles east of Dawson in an old rundown farmhouse that was in the middle of 6 or 8 acres of parched earth. He was a man in his late 50s, weather-worn and thin. He met me at the door with a look of suspicion.
What do you want?
Mr. Parrish?
Yes?
My name is Dollar. I represent the insurance company that covered your niece's life. I'd like to talk to you about it.
About what?
About your niece. Her death.
She's dead. What's there to talk about?
You're the beneficiary. You get $10,000 from the insurance company.
Come in. Sit down. I get, how much you say?
$10,000.
You want a drink?
Well, I don't...
I got a jug of whiskey. I've been saving it. You say your name is,
Dollar.
What company you work for?
National Life and Casualty.
I get $10,000.
That's right.
Yeah, have a swig. Oh, my, you swallowed wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, give me that. Well, no wonder. I didn't shake it up.
Shake it up?
Why, sure. Gotta shake it to make it smooth.
You sure that didn't come with a fuse in it?
Emmett Willis made it himself. Run it by last month. Here, you try it now.
Well, I really don't think
Oh, go ahead. You got a bad sample.
Okay.
You see how much smoother it is?
Yeah.
Well, you just gotta shake it up. Now I'll have it. Yes. Oh, my. Well, that's right tasty.
Yeah. Let's talk about your niece.
All right. Let's talk.
You know why anybody would want to kill her?
Well, that fella's been killing all them other girls, ain't it?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what the police say.
Well, it seems to me he don't care who he kills. Just as long as it's a girl. Another swig?
No, thanks. Your niece left you when she was 16, didn't she?
I'll take another cig, you ain't it? Yeah, 17, I think. She ran off to Tulsa.
You see her much after that?
Well, not much. Maybe once, twice a year.
When was the last time you saw her?
The other day in the morgue.
No, I mean before that.
Oh, my. Well, that was about a month.
She didn't write or...
Oh, look, Mr. Police, they ask all them questions.
I know it.
You got to ask them all over again, huh?
If you want to get your $10,000.
Well, okay. No, she didn't write. She never wrote. At least in the last 5 or 6 years, she never wrote. When she first got to Tulsa, she used to write now and then. Last time I seen her, she didn't say nothing about what she was doing or who she was seeing her. And so I can't very well help you find out who killed her. Come on, have a swig.
No, thanks. I'm in a rented car.
Suit yourself. Once I open the jug, it gets finished.
Then you better finish it.
Naturally, I will. Oh, man.
Delicious, huh?
Oh, you bet.
I left before he finished the demijohn. It was getting dark, and he stood on the porch, leaning against the post and waving goodbye between the last few swallows. Back in Tulsa, I went to the hotel, where I took a hot shower, then stretched out in the bed to relax for a few minutes before going out to dinner. I smoked a few cigarettes, and had just about decided to have some food sent up to the room when the phone rang. Johnny Dollar.
This is Cliff.
Huh?
Captain Kissick.
Oh, hi. Got back from Dawson about 40 minutes ago.
What did you think of the old boy?
Quite a character.
Son, if you weren't doing anything, you might like to drop down to the station.
You got something?
Yeah, just picked up a suspect. Might be our man.
What makes you think so?
He was following a girl. She spotted him and got worried. When got too close, she began screaming, and he ran. She gave us a pretty good description, and about 15 minutes ago, a couple of the boys picked him up.
The girl identify him?
Yeah, said he was the one who followed her, all right.
Well, it seems to me you're going to need more than that.
Well, we might have it. When the boys searched him, they found a straight razor in his pocket. Coming down?
Right away.
His name's Story. S-T-O-R-E-Y. Alvin Story. He hasn't said anything interesting.
But you think he's it?
Yeah, I think so. Nothing definite except the razor and his actions, but I just got a hunch.
What's he say about the razor?
Not much. Admits it's his. Says he was just carrying it. Mm-hmm.
Just taking a walk.
Yes, sir, that's right. I was just taking a walk.
And you weren't following the girl.
I told you I wasn't. I told you I was just taking a walk. If the girl thought I was following her, well, I can't help that. I wasn't. I was just taking a walk, like I said in the first place. Hello, Captain.
Hello, Alvin.
Back with someone to relieve Sergeant Heiress?
I'm not tired, Alvin.
Well, you're gonna be if you keep on like this, because I've told you the truth, and I'll just keep right on telling it. All night if you keep asking me.
Have a cigarette, Alvin?
I told you I don't smoke. Honest, Captain, this is just a waste of time. I've told you the truth, and you're just a waste of your time with all these questions.
We've got a lot of time. Now, let's go through it again, Alvin. Where did you get the razor?
Why, I bought it.
Where?
At a hardware store. You can check it. I bought it at a hardware store about 3 weeks ago. I used it to shave with, not to kill anyone. Honestly, I didn't kill anyone. I'm not the one you want. I'm not that person that killed all those women.
We never said you were, Alvin.
But you think so? Just because that girl thought I was following her.
Oh, weren't you?
Well, no. I told you I was not following that girl.
You were on your way home.
Yes.
You told me before.
Yeah, I was on the way to a show. Yes. I wasn't on the way home. Keep asking me all these questions. I get confused. I made a mistake.
What show were you going to see?
Well...
What show?
Oh, no one in particular. I was just going downtown to see what was playing.
You were headed downtown?
Yes, to see what was playing at the shows.
The girl says you were following her.
Well, I don't care what the girl says. She's lying. I wasn't following her.
But you were walking behind her.
Yes, I might... Yes, I was probably walking behind her.
Well, she was going in the other direction from town.
Well, again, I wasn't behind her. I tell you, I was going...
Police sergeant named Haddock kept working on the suspect, quietly, persistently. Alvin Story, a tall, frail-looking man dressed in blue jeans and a leather jacket, sat behind the table trying desperately to be calm and anticipate the sergeant's next question. After half an hour, the captain and I left and went upstairs to his office where he fixed coffee.
Cream and sugar?
Black will be fine.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. He's a strange one. If I had to pick types, I don't know. Hard to tell about anybody in a police station. Maybe he was following the girl. She starts screaming her lungs out, and he panics. The law picks him up, finds a razor on him. Maybe he's not the killer at all. He knows he looks guilty, so he gets good and scared. Guys act awful funny and make a lot of mistakes when they're scared.
He just carries the razor around with him.
Well, isn't it possible?
Oh, yeah. But I still think he's our killer.
Well, I have to admit I'm inclined to agree with you. But there's always a chance he's not. You never know.
Kissing. Yeah? Okay. So we know now.
Sorry?
Yeah. He just confessed.
You know, many great men have attained the highest office in our land, the presidency of the United States. Can you guess the name of this man? He never wanted to be president, since he personally felt he was unqualified for the office. When he was only 30 years old, he was appointed member of the Ohio Superior Court. He was President Grant's Secretary of War and Attorney General. In 1908, through the recommendation and support of Theodore Roosevelt, he succeeded Roosevelt as president. If you don't have his name by now, here's another clue. During his administration, the Postal Savings Plan and Parcel Post were established. Who was he? William Howard Taft, 27th President of the United States. His life is part of your American heritage.
And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Alvin Story still sat at the table in the dim, bare little room. He looked tired, but he looked relieved. A stenographer was set up at one end of the table, while Sergeant Haddock leaned against the wall and smoked a cigarette. Captain Kissig crossed to the table and sat on the edge of it, facing the suspect. Can we get this thing over with, Captain? Can we finish it up and let me go lie down?
The stenographer's ready. Tell us about it.
Well, what's there to tell? I killed them. I killed all of them. Isn't that enough to say? That's what they'll hang me for. Anything else I say won't make any difference.
Why'd you kill him, Alvin?
I don't know. You know something? I really don't know. I just wanted to. First one, I saw her and I just wanted to. I guess I thought about it before I saw her. Yes, I used to lie in bed and think about it. I used to dream about it, too. I used to wake up and feel like I'd really done it. Sick all over and scared. I felt so terrible. All I feel now, kind of. Yeah. It's like a dream now. Right now, it's like a dream. But it isn't.
Tell us about the person.
Do I have to?
It'll help.
It's kind of hard to remember exactly. I bought the razor and I waited for her.
On Garvey Boulevard?
I guess so.
Try to remember.
Yeah, it was Garvey. It was late at night.
What night? The night of the 11th?
Maybe. I think so. I think it was Tuesday night.
That's right.
And I killed her.
You knew her?
No, not really. It's hard to explain.
Well, did you know any of the other three girls?
Two.
No, with the last one, it makes four altogether.
No, three.
Now, think about it a minute, Alvin. There were...
Only three. I ought to know. Three girls.
No, now try to remember, Alvin.
I don't have to try and remember anything. There were three. Just three. 1, 2, 3. I know. Why would I want to lie?
I'm not saying you're lying, Alvin.
I even know the names. I cut the pictures out of the papers.
Tell me the names then, Alvin.
Well, certainly. Mary Knapp, Virginia Vitello, and Thelma Greer. I know all of them. I kept a record.
What about Isabel James?
Who?
Isabel James.
Oh, yes. She was in the papers the other day.
That's right.
And somebody killed her like the others. I read about it. I thought it'd be blamed on me, but it didn't make any difference. 1 or 10, what difference would it make?
For a half hour, they questioned Alvin's story. Time and time again, he admitted the 3 killings, and time again, he denied any connection with the 4th, the murder of Isabel James. Expense account item 2, $4.95, breakfast for Captain Kissig and myself, after which I returned to the hotel and crawled into bed. A lie detector test would be given to Alvin sometime late in the afternoon, so that gave me at least 6 or 7 hours to catch up on my sleep. I left the call at the desk, turned over, and closed my eyes. Study, Dollar.
3 o'clock, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, thanks.
And Mr. Parrish has been waiting in the lobby to see you.
Harris?
Yes, sir. Mr. Morley Parrish. He's been waiting over an hour.
Okay. Send him up.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Mr. Parrish. Have a seat.
Thank you. I've been waiting downstairs for over an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I was up all night. I told the desk not to disturb me until 3.
Oh, gee, that's all right. I know you city fellas don't like to get to bed much before the sun comes up. I didn't mind waiting.
I was with the police.
Oh?
I've been working with them on the death of your niece.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's the reason I come to Tulsa to see you. I was wondering when I was going to get the money.
Well...
See, I got a chance to get me a right smart section of land. Trading the place I got now, plus 8,000 for real good buy.
Oh? Well, Mr. Parrish, it might be some time before you get the money.
Oh, how come?
Oh, there's a routine that has to be followed. I have to finish my investigation.
Still investigating?
Oh, sure. You see, your niece's death is still unsolved.
Well, if that fellow's killing all them other girls...
It certainly looks that way.
You mean you got to catch him before you can pay me?
No, but I've got to make sure that he's the one who killed your niece.
You think maybe he isn't?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Perry.
Well, she got killed just like all them other girls.
Not exactly.
Huh?
I said not exactly. You see, the razor that kills your niece and the razor that killed the other girls aren't the same.
Well, how do you know that?
The police laboratory report.
They can tell if it was a different razor? Oh, no. Come on, Mr. Darling. Maybe I ain't the brightest.
It's a fact, Mr. Parrish. How do you think they knew it was a razor in the first place? Not just a very sharp knife. Oh, they can tell, all right.
Well, maybe the killer ain't using the same razor.
Yeah, we've considered that, but we can't tell. He hasn't killed again. Maybe he never will.
You mean I might never get my money?
Well, now, Mr. Parrish, it's not quite that bad. I want to see you get your money. You certainly got it coming. But I can't honestly recommend payment to my company until the case is solved.
What do you mean until you catch the killer?
That, or until we're certain the same man that killed the others killed your niece.
Well, it seems to me you gotta catch him to prove that.
Yeah, unless he kills again. With the same razor he used on your niece. Then we can be pretty sure that he's changed razors.
Well, maybe he's got two different ones.
Maybe.
Well...
You have to go?
Yeah, I gotta be getting back. As long as I ain't gonna get the money right away, there's no sense in hanging around.
Don't be discouraged, Mr. Parrish. Just as soon as I'm convinced the killer's changed razors, you'll get your money.
Yeah, Dollar, we just can't destroy the polygraph test. According to our experts, Story killed all the girls except Isabel James.
Look, Captain, Morley Parrish was just in my room. I gave him a cock and bull story about his niece being killed with a different razor.
A different razor?
I think maybe he did it for the insurance. Read all the stories in the paper about the killings and decided to kill his niece.
And then everybody just chalk it all up to Alvin's story.
Right. Only I didn't tell him that Alvin Story had been arrested.
Explain about that different razor.
Parrish left here thinking he wasn't going to get the $10,000 until I was certain the same man killed his niece who killed the others. He thinks your police lab proved that Isabel James was killed with another razor. And he quickly came up with a solution that the killer had changed razors or had two of them.
So what?
I think he'll go out and prove it.
What? You mean you think he...
I think he's simple-minded enough to try and kill someone just to make it look like the killer has changed razors.
Well, I sure hope you're wrong.
Well, so do I, but it's the only way we could prove anything.
Where is he?
He just left.
But holy cow, if you're right and he's wandering around loose...
Relax. He'll go back to his farm in Dawson first.
What makes you think so?
He has to get the razor, doesn't he? 10 minutes later, Captain Kissig picked me up in his car, and we drove well over the speed limit getting to Dawson. Just west of old Morley's farm, we pulled off the road and turned off our lights.
Well, the house is dark. Where is he?
Still on his way from Tulsa. We got here pretty fast, Captain.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Come on. Let's walk down to the house.
Do you have a car?
I don't know, but I doubt it. I didn't see one the last time I was here.
Wallace? What if you're wrong? What if you guessed wrong? What if he did have the razor on?
Well, that's a pretty good question. The night was warm, a big red moon. We walked down to the old farmhouse while a coyote howled way off in the distance. We found a spot by the side of the house where we could see the road and still be hidden in the shadows. We waited for Morley Parrish to come and get his razor. About an hour later, the old man came walking down the road and went into the house. After a few moments, a light flared in the back room. We could hear him moving around, and the light went out.
Hold it.
Who's there? Who are you?
It's me, Mr. Parrish.
Mr. Dollar?
Yeah. This is Captain Kissig with me.
What do you want?
Just came down to see you.
Well, I got business. I got to be going.
In a minute.
There's a drink in the house, another jug behind the stove. Go on in and make yourself comfortable. I'll be right back.
Hey, just a minute, Mr.
Well,
Perry.
look, I got to hurry.
Where are you going?
I got business in Dawson.
You gonna walk?
Oh, sure, I always walk. I hitchhike if I get a lift.
We've got a car. We'll give you a lift.
No, I don't want to put you in no trouble.
No trouble.
Mr. Parrish, what did you pick up in the house?
Huh? Well, nothing.
What have you got in your pocket?
Well, nothing. What do you want? You ain't got no right to do...
You own a straight razor, Mr. Parrish? You better give it to us, Mr. Parrish.
And be careful how you do it. I've got a gun pointed at you.
Well, you knew it all the time, huh?
I had a hunch.
Now, here you are.
Is this the one you killed your niece with?
Yeah.
You were going to kill somebody else.
Oh, there ain't no difference after the first one, and I sure could have used that money. Gee. Man, oh man, that was a wonderful little farm, but, I just guess you can't beat them scientific police methods. You sure thought I had it all figured out, too. You gonna go now?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to my farm? They'll sure hang me, and I ain't got no relatives to
The state'll take care of it. Come on.
Mr. Darling. I could just sneak back around, get that jug. There's no sense in wasting on some stranger who wouldn't appreciate it.
We took old Morley Parrish back to the station where he gave us a complete confession. He'd killed his niece for the insurance the way I figured. When we told him that Alvin Story had confessed that afternoon, old Morley just shook his head and said something about policemen being a whole lot smarter than most folks give him credit for. Expense account item 3, $11.80, dinner for me and Captain Tippett. After which I returned to my hotel, turned in and got a good night's sleep. Expense account items 4 and 5, $89.45, car rental and hotel bill. Item 6, $125.19, plane fare and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total, $335.04. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Johnny Dollar stars John Lund in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Joe Duvall, Parley Bear, Howard McNear, and Clayton Pope.
Welcome back. Well, Johnny Dollar can tend to play some very dangerous games with murderers and potential murderers. And it doesn't get much more dangerous than this particular episode. But I guess all's well that ends well. So, alright, well, we do have actually a few listener comments and feedback. And we will go ahead and we'll start out with a correction from Kelly, who writes, Hi, Adam. I noticed in your commentary after the May 11th, 2012, Johnny Dollar episode that you mentioned Jack Moyles as the star of Rocky Fortune. Actually, Frank Sinatra starred in Rocky Fortune. Jack Moyles starred in Rocky Jordan. I only noticed this because Rocky Jordan is one of my favorite old-time radio shows of all time. I believe it is on your list eventually to air, so I can't wait. Boston Blackie is one of my other favorites, which I believe is also on your list. Well, thanks so much, Kelly, for the clarification. And I mixed up the two Rocky shows. Of course, Rocky Jordan is Jack Moyles, and Rocky Fortune is Frank Sinatra. And thanks so much for the clarification. I guess I was thinking about Rocky Fortune because I answered a listener question on Twitter about that. Then we have a few comments on Facebook. Of all the actors that portrayed yours truly, Johnny Dollar, Bob Bailey is the best. And additional comments on that. I actually got quite a few. Sean says, I love yours truly, Johnny Dollar, especially with Bob Bailey. And Thaddeus says, I love these old Johnny Dollar shows. And Dave says, been listening to all the yours truly, Johnny Dollar shows on my iPod from your podcast. And really like Charles Russell's portrayal of Johnny Dollar, but Bob Bailey is still my favorite. Well, thanks so much. I'm glad, first of all, I enjoyed the Russell portrayal. It's interesting to hear the actors before Bailey. And, the show had quite a history, before Bob Bailey had outlasted some of the other shows that were on the air. It's amazing to think that there were more episodes of Johnny Dollar recorded before Bob Bailey than there were episodes of Philip Marlowe. But we are actually getting pretty close to the Bailey point. I think we're probably less than a year into finishing up the John Lunn episodes and getting done with Let George Do It, and then getting to hear Bob Bailey in yours truly, Johnny Dollar. So it's going to be, I think, definitely interesting, and I can hardly wait. We do have one other listener comment before we go. And this one comes from Melissa, who says, my entire family enjoys listening to old-time radio. Thanks so much for your podcast. And actually, False Alarm had 2 more comments on Podcast Alley, which we haven't gotten a comment in a while because I haven't been promoting because there's still issues with the site working for voting. But love your podcast, comments one listener, and Adam Graham has the best possible for great OTR. Thank you for your dedication and work to keep old-time radio alive, from Kelly. Well, thanks so much to Kelly and to everyone else for your kind comments. That will actually do it for this week. We will see you on Monday with Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator. Then on Tuesday, we're starting into Pete Kelly's Blues with Jack Webb. And then join us back on Friday for yours truly, Johnny Dollar. In the meanwhile, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives. And give us a call. The number is 208-991-4783. And become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your